The racing at York as well, the e-ball meeting, as our referee is Paul Tierney, who gets us underway. So in the sunshine, Arsenal in their red and white shirts and white shorts are playing from left to right as we look, and Fulham in their white and black tops, predominantly white with their black shorts, are therefore with the defending the end, where there's a clutch of Arsenal supporters all wearing black t-shirts. That's where the drum, that's where the noise originates from, but it now sweeps around the entire ground as Arsenal, who of course had set a blistering pace last year, if you recall. They'd won their opening, 16 of their opening 19 games as they soon became title challengers to Manchester City, and it was only in that late collapse from the in April, as that was a loose ball by Saka, and Pereira's onto it, and Pereira goes and profits from it, and within 60 seconds Fulham have taken a shock lead, and Pereira did ever so well, because Ramsdale was backpedaling and Pereira deliberately played it behind him and saw the ball creep inside the left-hand post, and Fulham lead 1-0.
Well, I'll have to say it again. I think it's a little bit of a miss hit from Pereira. I think he's trying to lob Aaron Ramsdale. Either way, it's a clinical finish into the bottom corner past Ramsdale. It's sloppy from Arsenal. The ball comes down the right-hand side, comes into Saka's feet, and he tries to just play a ball back to Ben White, overcooks it, and Pereira, who started in an advanced position for Fulham, finds himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Instead of taking it in, he just decides to take the shot on early, and what a shock round the Emirates.
The thing is that Ramsdale, all in blue, is going back to his goal line. All of a sudden there was no way he could then react and twist to his right to stop the goal-bound effort from Pereira. And the early goal, not just here, there's been another one. It's at Old Trafford, Lee Blakeman.
United 0, Forest 1. Forest scoring off a United corner. Awani picked the ball up on the halfway line, one-on-one, put it past Onana. 3-3 for him. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Two surprising scorelines. Manchester United have made a very scratchy start to the season. Mikel Arteta admits that Arsenal still aren't at their fluent best, but Martinelli's making a strong run forward, then he runs it over the dead ball line and out for a goal kick. But at least Arsenal have won both of their opening games, whereas Manchester United, they were very fortunate at home to Wolves, and then obviously came unstuck against Tottenham. But here, Arsenal behind, and there'll be still Arsenal supporters still filing in on that far side who won't have maybe realised that they're behind.
No, and they wouldn't have expected it at all. They would have thought that this would have been a comfortable day at the office. I think all the talk around the game is that Fulham haven't won here. They've been poor so far this season. However, they've caught Arsenal cold.
Yeah, they have. Sliding in was Partey. He's at right back. Here is Saliba. They certainly missed his presence at the end of last season when he was out with that back injury. Kiwior is forward, the Polish international at left back. Back to Rice, spreads it out towards Saka. Saka then plays it back to Thomas Partey. Infield to Rice, kept alive by Ødegaard, and Ødegaard now with a ball. That's a delightful ball out towards that far side, and then the clipped finish from Martinelli runs wide and out for a goal kick. Let's get news of the City of York Stakes at York Racecourse with John Hunt.
You may have some early shocks in the football, but it's business as usual in the racing, as Frankie Dettori wins the City of York Stakes in what may well be his final winner here before retirement. Kinross, his old favourite horse, has just done it. Too strong for outsider audience, and Sondrine back in third place. So Frankie Dettori making headlines right the way to the end. He's won on Kinross.
And that's probably likely to be his final appearance at York for the E-Ball, that 4-day event, always popular on the Knavesmire. Another goal at Old Trafford, Lee Blakeman.
Another one for Forest. United 0, Forest 2. Forest corner from the right. It went in off the head of Willy Bolly. He didn't know too much about it, but it's Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 2.
Fulham could have one here as well, as a long ball is played forward, and it was Harry Wilson making the run. The flag was up anyway on the far side, and it wouldn't kick on for him to then try and hook it over the goalkeeper, Ramsdale, with his right foot, and the Arsenal free kick has been taken quickly. So Forest lead 2-0 inside 4 minutes at Old Trafford. Arsenal are behind, and two very, very surprising scorelines.
Yeah, very surprising, but interesting to see how Fulham have set up today. They've almost set up with a 4 in midfield. You've got Dicko-Reid on the left-hand side, the 2 midfielders, the tenacious players in Sasa, Lukic and Paulinho, and then Harry Wilson on the right-hand side, which is leaving Pereira just in behind Jimenez, and that's trying to outnumber Arsenal in that central midfield position.
That's the voice of Stephen Warnock with us here on the BBC. As in the sunshine, Saliba to Ødegaard, finds a bit of space on this near side, the right. Thomas Partey now takes over. Paulinho has tracked the run of the Arsenal number 5. White plays it forward. Saka being held there by Dicko-Reid. The referee has played the advantage, Paul Tierney. Partey chips it forward. Havertz might have dropped towards Trossard. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. Always a pleasure to have your company. We're at the Emirates, of course. We've had been listening to Lee James, Anita Asante and Brad Friedel in the build-up to Sports World, and you join us here where Fulham lead by 1-0, and equally as surprising, Nottingham Forest 2-0 up at Old Trafford against Manchester United. As Martinelli's cross is too deep and over the head of Saka. And, you know, Arsenal's record here has been excellent, and as you say, Fulham have stunned them.
Oh, they have. They certainly have, and I'm just watching the wide positions of Arsenal. So often they get players in 1v1 situations. I think it's going to be a real challenge for Fulham today because the two fullbacks are more than capable in 1v1 situations. Very athletic, very quick in the way that they move across the pitch, and then what they're trying to do is say to the centre-backs, you deal with the midfield runners, let us deal 1v1 with the wide players.
Obviously varied kickoffs a lot of the time now in the Premier League, but Arsenal's record at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon is impressive here at the Emirates. They've lost just one of their last 34. They've won 27 and drawn 6, but they've given the ball away again, and now it's with Jimenez, former Wolves striker. Of course, he suffered that horrific injury here in November 2020, where he fractured his skull. But signed from Wolverhampton Wanderers, leading the line for Fulham. Now, of course, in the absence of Mitrovic, no other goals to tell you about elsewhere, as the ball is played forward by Kivior. And Martinelli tries to get round the back. Tete has gone with him, and then there's a little push there from Tete on Martinelli as he sees the ball behind for a goal kick. So, Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 2. In the earlier game, it was Bournemouth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2, a result. Let's get the latest from Brentford. Charlie Slater.
7 minutes gone. Brentford 0, Palace 0. Game still finding its feet. Brentford on top, though. An almighty rumble of thunder overhead in West London a few moments ago. Still 0-0.
And into the Championship, a goal at St Andrews. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Birmingham City, and Scott Hogan has opened his account for the season. Made though by the Japanese winger Miyoshi. Perfect pass, 6 yards out, couldn't miss. Birmingham 1, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Birmingham have won their last 3. Ipswich have won all 4 this season. Goal at Portman Road, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 1, Leeds United 0. Caden Jackson into the area, opening up his body and just slamming the ball in towards goal. It took a wicked deflection off Joe Rodon, and Ipswich have the lead. Ipswich 1, Leeds 0.
And at Sincilbank, Lincoln City 1, Blackpool 0. Arsenal looking for an equaliser. Havertz played in left-hand side, clips over the cross, headed away by Diop at the heart of the Fulham defence, and then it's Kivior who chips it from the left to the right. Ødegaard is forced a long way over to this near side. He plays the ball forward towards Saka. Robinson tight behind the England international, comes to Ødegaard, plays it into the centre circle. This is Saliba. The Arsenal supporters, plenty of vocal encouragement, that is for sure, as Havertz left-hand side, Rice, but goes back to the halfway line. We'll pay our first visit since kick-off to Goodison Park. Mas Faruqi.
No early goals here, but a couple of decent chances the last couple of minutes for Everton, for Onana, and then Danjuma just couldn't get onto the end of a cross from the right. Everton 0, Wolves 0.
Here is Robinson, the Fulham left-back. Hits it early, drifts out of play, caught by Arteta. Quickly tosses the ball to Thomas Partey. What have you made of the Arsenal response since that, what was it, 50-odd seconds?
Yeah, well, they've struggled. They've struggled to really find a way through the Fulham block. They've got 4 at the back, and as I say, the full-backs and the centre-backs are marshalling the runners extremely well. More often than not, you get drawn by following players and you lose track of where the ball's going, and then players find space. They're dealing with it really, really well, Fulham, and Arsenal are struggling to move the ball quickly.
Former England international Stephen Warnock, who's with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ødegaard passes the ball back. Saliba just edges his way midway through his own half. Rice now takes over. Thomas Partey has gone into midfield. White then is almost like is covering, isn't he, that central defensive role as well as the right back area. So they have got that extra player in midfield as a result. Here is Saka on this near side the right, back towards Ødegaard, looks to turn, he's got a few options, then he waits. White now comes forward on this near side the right, almost level with the penalty area. White sends over the cross, Trossard on mark, brings it off his right thigh, clips the ball back in, over the head of Martinelli, Saka flicks it back into the area, Havertz put it out, an outstretched leg, and then it was offside anyway, and it'll be a free kick to Fulham. It remains Fulham who lead by 1-0. Goal at Rotherham in the Championship. Shojo Saka.
It was a goal for Rotherham United, but it's just been scratched off. The Jordan Hugill put the ball in the net from the corner, and it's been given for an infringement. It's been scratched off. It's still Rotherham 0, Leicester 0.
Yet to win in the Championship, the South Yorkshire side. That little passage of play, I'm sure, will give the home side encouragement.
Yeah, well, it was the best that we've seen from Arsenal. Couple of switches of play, just shifting the back line out of position. The cheer went up in the Emirates because they just thought Kai Havertz was going to put it into an empty net, but it was a brilliant challenge at the back post from Kenny Tete to prevent it. He didn't know the offside flag had gone up. That'll also give Fulham encouragement as well.
Oxford United have taken the lead in League One at home to Charlton Athletic. Oxford 1, Charlton 0. Saliba outside the centre circle of his own half. Kiwior passes the ball forward, and now it is with Havertz in that midfield role. Forward then to Martinelli on the left-hand side. Martinelli held up by Tete, left corner of the area. Passes the ball inside towards Rice. Rice passes the ball back. Fulham have got everybody back behind the ball. They're trying to find a way through. And now it's with Saliba to Ødegaard. Saka's on this near side the right. Arsenal threatening here at the moment. Saka then passes the ball back towards White, and then the move breaks down through White's forward pass. Another goal at Portman Road. Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 1, Leeds 1. Jorginho Rutter has found an equaliser for the visitors, jinking in past the body of Leeds defenders and just potting the ball past Václav Hladky. Ipswich 1, Leeds 1.
Sani Rudravajula has news of a goal at Huddersfield.
Yes, Huddersfield 0, Norwich City 1. A poor back pass. Josh Sargent has chased down Lee Nichols, the goalkeeper. He's tried to clear it. It's hit Sargent, and then Sargent's followed up and headed in. He's down getting treated at the moment, but he's got the goal. It's Huddersfield 0, Norwich City 1.
Hibs 0, Livingston 1, a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Notts County are leading at home to Tranmere in League 2. And Wrexham have taken the lead also in League 2. They're away at Barrow, a Phil Parkinson side today. It's Barrow 0, Wrexham 1. You're up to date. We'll go back to Old Trafford though. Lee Blakeman.
United 0, Forest 2. United have just gone close though. Good passing move. Fernandez 20 yards out at the end of it, put in a shot straight down the throat of Matt Turner. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 2.
Everton 0, Wolves 0, no goals. Brentford, Crystal Palace. Ange Postecoglou, excellent start as manager of Tottenham Hotspur, as Arsenal looking for an equaliser here. It was a long searching diagonal ball for Havertz breaking through from midfield. One bounce, then it's in the arms of Bernd Leno.
Yeah, great positioning from Bernd Leno. Understands that he has to take that high position to make sure that he helps his defenders out. It's just a couple of times now that Fulham have struggled to play out, and Arsenal have capitalised and started moves very quickly.
Pereira caught in possession. The referee, though, waves away any appeals for a free kick, for a foul on Trossard. And meanwhile, Arsenal have won the ball back. And it's with Thomas Partey, forward of the centre circle. Ødegaard near side the right. Saka's ahead of him. He's been tracked by Paulinho. Saka back towards Ødegaard. Trossard looks to make the run. Ødegaard holds on to the ball. They go back, and we'll go back to Rotherham. Shojo Saka.
It is Rotherham 0, Leicester 1. This one's going to count. Set up by Ian Acho, headed in by Casey McAteer for his first senior goal. It's Rotherham 0, Leicester 1.
And at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership, it's Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 1. Rangers go to the top of the table after their 2-0 victory at Ross County. Celtic, I'm sure, will have something to say about that as they're at home to St Johnstone. St Mirren also have a 100% winning start after the early stages in the Scottish Premiership. Here though is Declan Rice, collects the underarm throw out from Ramsdale, his fellow England international. He now finds the feet of Havertz and they work the ball over to that far side, the left, and it's Martinelli. Martinelli just in from the touchline, 30 yards out from goal. Arsenal trailing by 1-0. Pereira's goal in the opening minute here at the Emirates in North London. Saliba just outside the centre circle. Every outfield player is in the Fulham half. They're working very, very hard to close down Arsenal. As Saka just in from the touchline.
There was just an opportunity there for Fulham when Harry Wilson goes forward. They try a forward ball and then it breaks down. Arsenal have got a 2v1 down that left hand side, and Fulham's right, and they're not taking advantage of it. I don't think it'll take them long to work it out though.
Kiwior just tries to play a short, sharp pass down that left hand side, and it's been put out of play. Fulham couldn't keep it in. It'll be an Arsenal throw. Another goal at Ipswich Town. Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 1, Leeds 2. Leeds have turned this on its head, and it's guess who? It's Wilfred Gnonto. He's tapped home at the back post following a beautiful cross from Sam Byram on this near side. Ipswich 1, Leeds 2.
Given a second chance by Leeds United. Gnonto had been looking to try and get away from Ellen Road, so Leeds have come from behind. I wonder what the reception was like for Daniel Farke, former Norwich manager, going there to Suffolk today. Anyway, might be Diop just leaves that one for Leno, got the shout, and Leno just puts his right foot through that and clears it long downfield, and then it bounces away off the outstretched leg of Thomas Partey, goes into a challenge with Robinson. On the cover though was White, plays it forward, and Di Cordova-Reid climbs high over Saka to head the ball out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I don't know what Mikel Arteta's angry about. Partey just took too long on the ball, and Anthony Robinson was on top of him as quick as he could be, closing him down. He wanted a foul, but it certainly wasn't. They just don't really look as comfortable at the back in this formation at the moment, Arsenal. You touched on it before with Ben White playing in that right back, sort of right-sided centre-back position. I think that's evolved with the Kyle Walker position at Manchester City. Someone who's comfortable at playing at centre-back, who can also play at right-back, and that suits Ben White.
Yeah, well, Arsenal are coming forward now with Trossard. They pick the ball up over the halfway line and he finds Martinelli. Martinelli to the edge of the area. Martinelli enters the box. Martinelli shoots and the keeper makes the save. Another goal at Old Trafford, Lee Blakeman.
United have got one back. Rashford from the left, sent in across. Eriksen in the 6 yards area for a tap-in. Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
Penalty at Huddersfield, Sani.
Yes, and it's Ashley Barnes who's going to take it. The ball is on the spot. He steadies himself. Slow run up strike, but he then scores. Norwich have a second. It's 101 not out for Ashley Barnes. His 101st goal for in his career. It was after Jonathan Rowe was brought down in the box. Norwich City are cruising. It's Huddersfield Town 0, Norwich City 2.
Saka with a cross on the right hand side, and Havertz just didn't seem to go for it, and Tete gets the ball away and it goes behind for a corner kick.
Brilliant from Arsenal. The interplay, the 1-2, the one-touch football. But Pereira's really struggling here. He can't cope with the passing in and around him.
MK Dons are leading Doncaster by 1-0. We'll be going to Brentford in a moment, but it's a corner kick to Arsenal. 0-0 here. BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service. You might also be listening through BBC Sounds. Fulham leading by 1-0. Arsenal, corner kick, far side, the left. Havertz, one of 4 Arsenal players, making a run from the right-hand side of the penalty area in towards the near post. Brushes Havertz, comes to Martinelli, can't get it goalwards, headed away by Robinson, hooked goalwards again, they appeal for handball, drops to the edge of the area, Saka then challenged, and the referee's going to show a yellow card here to Jimenez, and it's going to be a free kick, and we'll get news of that goal at Brentford. Charlie Slater.
18 minutes gone, Brentford had the lead, 1-0. Kevin Schade with his first goal for the club, a brilliant finish, cutting in between a couple of players down the left hand side, right footed into the far top corner of the net. Brentford 1, Palace 0.
So all happening there.
Well, he might have got Raul Jimenez, but he's just saved his team a goal from conceding a goal. That was a brilliant tackle at the back post, because Martinelli, he just cocked his foot back, he was loading the gun, getting ready to shoot, and then he just got a magnificent challenge in at the last second. Raul Jimenez at the back post. That was really, really important.
So the Arsenal supporters are expectant. In their red and white shirts and white shorts, playing from left to right. They've got a free kick, a few yards outside the penalty area on the right hand side. probably 10, 12 yards up from the byline. Saka stands over this free kick. Fulham have every white shirt back inside their own penalty area. Leno is poised. Saka, right arm aloft, stuttering run up, left footed. There's a hush inside the stadium, tried to creep it inside the near post, steered behind by, I think it was Robinson, got the final touch, corner kick.
Good position at that front post. Had to make sure that it doesn't go through towards the goalkeeper, because it's really difficult for Leno to deal with. More pressure from Arsenal. They like this corner routine, don't they, Deno, where the 4 players, the Arsenal players, are stood right at the back of the penalty area towards the opposite corner flag, and then they make the runs forward.
So at the minute, you've got all 10 outfield players not actually picking up an Arsenal shirt as the corner goes deep. Saliba heads it back at that far post. Bassi heads it away, falls towards Kiwior, just wouldn't come down, and then it was Bassi again who got the ball out of play for a throw. The multi-ball system is in operation, and so straight away the ball is in play. Harrogate 1, Morecambe 0 is a latest score from North Yorkshire in League 2, but we're in North London. And we're in the 21st minute, and Arsenal are pressing for an equaliser as Saka goes on the inside of Robinson. Palhinha makes the challenge and wins the ball firmly and well in the midfield, taken over by Divock Origi. Now finds Robinson. He releases Robinson, who's got room to run into on this near side the left, and Robinson sends over the cross, and Kiwior was back to cut it out. A goal at Ipswich again, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 1, Leeds United 3. Luis Sinisterra 30 yards out, cuts inside, curls a right-footed shot in towards goal. It's dropped by Václav Hladký in the Ipswich goal into the path of Joel Peru for a debut tap-in. Ipswich 1, Leeds 3.
That was close here, an acrobatic effort from Jimenez, and it was dropping, and that wasn't too far away from the right-hand post.
I thought it was in. I was out in my seat. I was thinking, what a finish this is from Raul Jimenez. Ben White just didn't deal with the lob over the top from Pereira. He tried to find Jimenez, and it just hit Ben White on the back of the head, dropped Jimenez, and then he tried the acrobatic bicycle kick, and Ramsdale was rooted to his spot. He just didn't know where to look for the ball. He'd lost the flight of it completely, and it just brushed the outside of the post.
Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 1. Ball forward for Trossard. Mansfield 0, Stockport 1. Mansfield unbeaten so far in League 2, but behind it, Field Mill to Dave Challoner's side. And Wigan are down to 10 men at the moment as well. Wigan, as the ball is with De Cordova-Reid, they're at home to Barnsley. It remains 0-0, but Wigan are down to 10. De Cordova-Reid to Jimenez. Shot takes the deflection, goes behind for a Fulham corner. We'll go back to Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
United 1, Forest 2. This is breathless, this game. It really is. United could have been level. Casemiro with a shot, edge of the D, well saved by Matt Turner. United piling on the pressure, but they trail 2-1 to Forest.
So Fulham in no real hurry to take the corner kick, still leading here by a goal to 0. They have come close to a second. When they met actually last season here in again, it was in August. Mitrovic, who of course has since left, he's gone to Saudi Arabia, gave them a lead. That was in the 56th minute, yet Arsenal did come from behind. Gabriel got a late goal, and hold on, Paul Tierney's going to show a yellow card, I think, here, because a bit of time wasting to the goal scorer Pereira. Oh, it's just going to be a talking to, which has angered the Arsenal supporters. So he'll be told to hurry up now. Corner kick to Fulham, still leading 1-0. Pereira in swinger, headed away by White, goes up rather than away, falls to the edge of the area, put back in, cannons away, shot then from Palhinha, and then cleared by Partey. That was like a pinball machine for a time.
Yeah, it certainly was. They're just struggling to get the ball clear from the set pieces, Arsenal, but I have to say Fulham have been impressive in the last few minutes. The break that they had, where Raul Jimenez got a shot that led to the corner. Some of the play from Fulham in midfield, especially Pereira and Harry Wilson, was brilliant to watch.
Well, on the opening day, they won away at Everton by a goal to 0 at Goodison today. Wolves, Maz Faruqi.
Danjuma will be glad the offside flag subsequently went up. He was through on goal, could only hit the left-hand post as Jose Sal charged him down, but he was clearly off the Everton man. It's a nervy 0-0 here. Everton 0, Wolves 0.
Indeed, that 1-0 win at Everton, it means that Fulham are looking to win their opening 2 away games in the top flight for the first time. This is their 29th season in the top flight of English football. 25 minutes played, Fulham still holding on, And indeed, if we're being honest, Ben Leno, there's been a couple of scares for Fulham, but the keeper himself hasn't been tested.
No, he hasn't. There's been a couple of balls fizzed across the penalty box, and you expect that from Arsenal with the players that they got in wide positions. The one thing that Fulham keep on doing is they keep trying to play out from the back, and that will cause them problems because we know the press from Arsenal is so good. They have to be brave and try to continue to do that, but it comes with an element of risk as well.
Here is Saliba. Ball played back then by Martinelli in the central area. Rice to Partey, works it across towards Saka. Now level with the penalty area on this right hand side. Does the little step over, but they've doubled up there on Bukayo Saka. Ball played in field now by Partey. Rice has to release it behind him, and White goes all the way back to Ramsdale. Let's get news of the Rugby Union. England-Fiji, James Burridge.
And England have their first try, and it's scored by Johnny May in the left-hand corner. He wasn't in England's original World Cup squad, in for Anthony Watson, and he scores straight away. England 8, Fiji 0.
Martinelli has lost the ball in the centre circle. Fulham now come forward with Wilson. Wilson shuffles the ball out to his left, strikes it left-footed, but it was always going away from goal. Out for a goal kick, Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, lovely play from Fulham, making sure runners make sure that they run beyond the Arsenal backline to free up the space for Harry Wilson. They know what an asset he is to the team, what a lethal left foot he has, so they just try and clear a corridor for him to get that shot away. Just drags his shot past the right far post. Aaron Ramsdale was at full stretch. He wouldn't have got anywhere near it had it been on target.
There is an extremely ominous dark cloud that is hovering behind the end of Aaron Ramsdale as we look here at the Emirates towards our left-hand side, and that would be symptomatic of, or would reflect probably the mood for the Arsenal supporters, because many people be thinking here this is a home banker, but it's not necessarily going Arsenal's way at the moment. You'd think that too for Celtic at home to St Johnstone, a home banker. Conor McLaughlin.
Yeah, you'd think so. 27 minutes on the clock though, and it's still Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0. You do get the feeling though that it could be the opening goal that is on the way shortly. They're hemming St Johnstone, just looking for that little bit of space. It's not come so far. The rain's now on, so their Celtic fans will be hoping that's not an omen. Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0.
Thanks, Connie. Fulham still lead 1-0. 27 minutes played here. Here is Martinelli, stretches, passes the ball forward. Saka pops up on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Paulinho gets the ball away. He is such an effective player, isn't he? Just sitting there shielding that back four.
Well, he was going to be my next point. What a player he is. He just brings a physicality, a way that you close down. He covers the ground so quickly, but it's his presence when he gets up to players. They can see him straight away in the eye line, closing that space down. They want to release the ball as quick as possible.
The Arsenal fans are not happy. Paul Tierney has given a free kick against Kai Havertz. Peterborough 1, Derby 0 is the latest score in League 1. Salford 0, Accrington 1 is the latest in League 2. In the Championship, Middlesbrough, who are yet to win this season, have fallen behind at the Hawthorns. West Bromwich Albion 1, Middlesbrough 0, and the 10 men of Wigan have fallen behind. Wigan 0, Barnsley 1. You're up to date. That's the latest score in League 1. Fulham still lead here. Brentford are 1-0 up home to Crystal Palace. Paulinho does well to turn away from Havertz, just reinforcing really what we've been saying about him. Everton Wolves is goalless. What's the latest at Old Trafford? Lee Blakeman.
United 1, Forest 2. How United aren't level, I've no idea. A Fernandez corner across the face of goal. Casemiro, free header, 3 yards out, and he completely missed it. United 1, Forest 2.
Fulham send the ball in from the right. Ødegaard gives the ball away. They've been a little bit sloppy in that area, haven't they? Not the first time caught in possession, or giving it away rather.
No, 2 or 3 times where Fulham have just caught them napping in midfield and they've been on them. I have to say, some of the play from Fulham has been magnificent. Paulinho receiving the ball under pressure. You probably heard me sort of grimacing in my seat thinking, oh no, he's going to get caught, but just used his body so well to turn away, and Fulham are on the attack again.
Yes, they are, and it goes out to De Cordova-Reid, who picks it up, casually plays the ball inside. Just stepping forward to get there first was Rice. Martinelli makes sure that Arsenal retain possession, but Havertz hasn't got an outlet on this right-hand side because Saka had temporarily switched to the left, and he looked towards him, and there was just a void on this near side as Arsenal play from left to right. Back to Goodison we go. Maz Faruqi.
Great chance for Everton from a corner. Wolves just couldn't get the ball clear. There was a great save from a Dobbin shot from Sarr. The follow-up though from Tarkowski, then shot wide. Still Everton 0, Wolves 0.
Saliba in the centre circle. Everybody's dropped off for the white and black of Fulham. Partey on this near side. Saka holds the line, provides the width. Ball goes short in field. Rice to Ødegaard. Saka once again plays it back. Thomas Partey infield now to White. White in that hybrid role, if you like, passes the ball out to Ødegaard. Saka's made the run off Calvin Bassey. Ødegaard wanted somebody a little bit further wide on the right. You could see the way he was orchestrating and waving his right hand.
I think one thing you'd have to say about Arsenal today is it's a game of patience. They're going to have to be calm.
Out it goes to Trossard. Trossard clips in the cross. Ødegaard makes the run. Downward header by Saka. Inside the 6-yard box, but it goes almost down in front of him and then bounces over the bar, and it was never a threat to Bernd Leno.
Oh, he should score. It should be 1-1. It's a magnificent ball from Trossard from that left-hand side, cuts inside with his right foot, and it's a run by Ødegaard who gets inside Anthony Robertson. He has to deal with him. They both miss the ball. It takes Saka by surprise, and it just hits him on the forehead, and as you say, hits the ball, goes over the bar. Big chance.
Mansfield have equalised at home to Stockport County in League 2. It's Peterborough 1, Derby County 1, and West Bromwich Albion have increased their lead at home to Middlesbrough. So West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 0, and a goal at St Mary's also in the Championship. Sheridan Robbins.
Southampton 1, QPR 0. It's been one-way traffic for this opening 30 minutes. A wonderful solo goal from Sam Mendoza. He picked his spot perfectly into the top corner. It's Southampton 1, QPR 0.
Qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix, Max Verstappen will be on pole. Here is Rice, releases the ball. Trossard, central area. Trossard waits. He finds Martinelli. Martinelli's forced out wide and then forces a save from Leno down at his near post. Behind it goes for a corner kick. Will nip to Stevenage. Flo Pollock.
Stevenage 0, Portsmouth 0. Lots of half chances for Portsmouth, but not a thriller so far. Stevenage 0, Portsmouth 0.
Thanks, Flo. Commentary of that Dutch Grand Prix incidentally be on Sports Extra tomorrow afternoon. Leyton Orient are leading Cambridge by 1-0 in League One, and you're up to date with the goals as they go in. That was the first time that Leno has really been tested. Although as Stephen Warnock was saying, Saka really should have scored with that downward header that was presented to him just moments ago. Corner kick, left-hand side, Trossard to take it. Robinson meets it at the near post. Firm header away, bouncing ball. Trossard tries to shield it away from Harry Wilson, the Welsh international, putting him under pressure. Plays it to Ødegaard. Ødegaard 30 yards out from goal. White now, midway through the Fulham half. Now it's with Saka, running. You've actually got Jimenez who's in front of him. He clips the ball deep towards the far post, and it went in between Havertz and Trossard, and you can sense the frustration around the Emirates. What's the atmosphere at Brentford like? Charlie Slater.
It is absolutely bucketing it down. 32 minutes on the clock. Brentford 1, Palace 0. But it's so wet that we're getting wet in the press box, and fans are scurrying to the back of the stand. So there you go. Goals and weather on your Saturday afternoon on 5 Live. 1-0.
Well, if that hefty big cloud towards our left doesn't deposit a large amount of rain, then I'll be very surprised. I mean, I make no weatherman, but I put my life on that. Here is Wilson for the time being. As it hovers ominously over the Emirates, it remains dry, but it's clouding over as Fulham still lead by 1-0. Middlesbrough have got a goal back. West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 1. No other goals to tell you about. Hold on, there's another one. It's at Southampton. Sheridan Robbins.
Out of nothing, Southampton 1, QPR 1. Jack Colback is making his first start of the season, and he just took a pot shot, and it ricocheted into the back of the net. Southampton 1, QPR 1.
Let's get an update with the 100, the cricket. Adam Mountford.
We've had 30 balls in, 42 without a loss. Welsh Fire, excellent start from their England opening partnership of Tammy Beaumont. Badly dropped though when she was on only 4. She's on 11. Sophia Dunkley's on 30. Superchargers unchanged. No Alex Hartley for the Welsh Fire, who are 44 without loss after 31.
And we'll be going racing very, very soon. The Ebor handicap at York was due off at 3:35, so that's on its way with John Hunt. Fulham still lead by 1-0. Brentford 1, Palace 0. No goals at Goodison. Everton, Wolves, Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. They were 2-0 up inside 4 minutes. And remember earlier, Bournemouth 0, Tottenham 2, Ross County 0, Rangers 2. Were the results in the early kickoffs. Arsenal are attacking left-hand side, but Tete has forced Martinelli away. Kiwior Infield now towards Rice. Quite a high line from Fulham, almost 30 yards out from their own goal. Partey spreads the ball out towards Saka. White comes on the overlap. Saka just uses him as a decoy at the moment. Holds on to the ball. Now shifts it onto his left foot. Looks up. Passes the ball short. Ødegaard. The supporters are crying shoot. But Arsenal just keep playing in front of Fulham at the moment. Martinelli towards Havertz, and it breaks down. A goal in the Championship at Deepdale. Adam Cottier.
Preston 0, Swansea 1. Harrison Ashby with a fine right foot volley from Keys cross from the left hand side. Winless Swansea ahead at Deepdale 1-0.
And that was well reacted by Saliba, because Pereira could have latched onto a loose ball there about midway through the Arsenal half. MK Dons have got a second at home to Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster struggling, no win, only a point so far for their troubles. Exeter 1, Reading 0 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date on BBC Radio 5 Live, and less than 10 minutes to go to half time.
They're really putting a shift in here, Fulham. They're getting pushed from side to side. It's going to be taking a lot of toll on the legs. They're getting tired. You can see some of the Fulham players just sort of trying to get the breath in, trying to take as much oxygen in as they can, because they know what shift they're putting in. From Arsenal's point of view, keep moving them, keep pushing them from side to side, and make sure when you get the opportunity to, someone will switch off, and you've got to have that quality in the final third, which we know they possess.
There would have been a time, of course, when there was a rather toxic atmosphere at Arsenal. The supporters would have really been grumbling. But the Arsenal supporters, to their credit, those times have changed. They were superb last season, and despite they're a bit behind, the Arsenal fans remaining with their team. And I think they've helped really contribute that turnaround in the fortunes here at the Emirates. They've won 18 of their last 23 at home. They've only lost 2 during that period, as Saka looks for a free kick, saying he was checked by Robinson. The referee's not having any of that, and the ball goes through to Bernd Leno. Let's get an update from our featured game in League Two. It's at Priestfield. Becky Ives.
Gillingham 0, Colchester 0. Gillingham started the game brighter. Timothy Dieng with the best chance of the game, but saw his header parried away by Owen Goodman in the Colchester net. Nothing to separate them so far, though. Gillingham 0, Colchester 0.
The only side with a 100% winning record in League Two. Wimbledon, who were third, unbeaten, and they are leading at home to Forest Green 1-0 in League Two. Fulham still have a slender lead. Arsenal give the ball away again. Back to Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
United so close to an equaliser. United 1, Forest 2. Ball in from the right. It was poked goalwards by Martial. Saved on the line this time by Matt Turner. United 1, Forest 2.
Martinelli left-hand side of the penalty area. Rice outside the box. Central area. Now with Thomas Partey, 30 yards out from goal. Closed down by Pereira. He finds Rice with a pass to his left. Rice looks up. Curls a ball out towards the thighs of Saka. Right corner of the area to Ødegaard. Ødegaard can't get the shot away. Closed down by Fulham, as Stephen Warnock says, working so hard off the ball. Rice, back it goes to a central area. Now out to Kiwior, the left back. Back to Rice once again, knocking on the door. Martinelli finds Trossard. Trossard with a turn. Tete's gone to ground, and he's told to get up by his own team, as he now miraculously springs back to his feet. Here is Martinelli, left corner of the area with the cross. Repelled by the head of Calvin Bassey. Picked up by Partey. Partey short, square, infield. Rice holds on to the ball. Forward to Ødegaard. Ødegaard has again no width on the right hand side. Saka's gone central, lifts the ball into his path, inside right channel of the box. Saka then back towards Partey. Partey looks up, plays a ball in towards Trossard. Robinson was there and Bassey clears it away. They're knocking on the door, they just can't find a way through.
Yeah, you just feel if the goal's going to come, it's going to come from a switch of play and a lack of concentration, and one of the midfielders, the wide players, switching off at the back post, where they're in unfamiliar territory. They don't like being at that back post. They're not used to defending that back post.
And you can see Marco Silva is waving his right arm. He's saying, come out, stop sitting too deep. That's the message. He's with his hands on his hips as the move breaks down. Oh no, it kept in play on that far side. Kept in play, and Rice now has it. Swindon, who are still unbeaten in League Two. Swindon 1, Crawley 0. Peterborough 1, Derby 2. No other goals to tell you about. You're up to date. 5 Live, the World Service. 6 minutes to go to half time. Here is Ødegaard to Saka. Ødegaard goes on ahead of Saka, but he holds on to the ball and he passes the ball back. And now it's with White, who spreads it out towards the left-hand side. Tete challenges Martinelli. Tete says there was a foul. The referee plays on. Martinelli runs past him into the penalty area to Trossard. He couldn't take the shooting opportunity. And Fulham again have people there to snuff out that chance for Arsenal. Back it goes then to the centre circle. White. Now it's with Kiwior, passes the ball to Martinelli, it's in front of him, comes onto it now, in off that left touchline, 6 yards up from the byline, back towards Trossard, Trossard towards right, back towards Martinelli, shoots straight at Leno. Where will we go next? Back to Old Trafford. Manchester United, Nottingham Forest. Lee Blakeman.
United have just had another chance, bursting into the area. Olareina bringing down a Manchester United player. No penalty, said the referee. Fernandez's corner's come in. Nothing's come of it. Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
News from the Knavesmire. John Hunt.
Yes, the start of the E-ball, Ian, is being delayed, and that is because Frankie Dettori's mount, Absurd, is behaving badly, and he's making Frankie walk him to post. He won't go down to post with Frankie on board, so age 52, Frankie having an unscheduled fitness session here at York.
Havertz with a pull back. Odegaard! What a finish! Flags up, won't count. Offside. VAR won't need to intervene. The officials were right on top of that. Although, of course, they'll still have a look. And Odegaard's crisp finish was the celebrations cut extremely short.
Yeah, it was down the left-hand side. It was Kai Havertz who made that run. He was the one that was offside initially. He was one who tried to pull it back, actually, for Trossard. He got it horribly wrong, and it fell into the feet of Odegaard, who then managed to get the strike in and score the goal, but rightly ruled off for offside.
And I don't think that Thomas Schaffernacker, his job isn't at all under threat. But the rain has duly arrived here in North London, and Fulham's 1-0 lead remains intact with about 3 minutes to go to half time. What's the latest at Goodison, Maz Faruqi?
Danjuma should have put Everton ahead. Patterson's cross from the right, put wide at the right hand post by the Everton number 10. He was 6 yards out. He wasn't really challenged. Still, Everton 1, Wolves 1 here.
Millwall, who've won they've lost their last 3 actually in the Championship, Millwall, but they are leading Stoke City by a goal to nil. Mansfield 1, Stockport County 2, so they're back in front at Field Mill. Lincoln 2, Blackpool 0, and Derby have got a third at London Road. Peterborough United 1, Derby County 3.
You're not meant to laugh at your own jokes.
Sorry. It was just the reaction of you two that made me giggle. Here is Trossard. No laughing if you're an Arsenal supporter at the moment. Frustrating first half. Fulham still lead by a goal to nil. Here is Trossard on the inside. Jesus is on the bench and Nketiah is on the bench. We could have a dramatic second half for you if Fulham continue to hold out. Remember, Forest are still leading at Old Trafford 2-1. Brentford 1-0 up at home to Crystal Palace. We've got commentary to come. Brighton and Hove Albion against West Ham United at 5:30. Steve Sidwell part of the commentary team with Alistair Bruce Ball. And in fact, Steve Sidwell was amongst the scorers the last time that Fulham beat Arsenal. It was at Craven Cottage in 2012. Giroud was sent off, so Fulham actually winless in 10 Premier League games, home and away. But they are leading. Trossard off the chest, out towards Kiwior, in the driving rain now in North London, out towards Saka, drops over the head of Robinson and reaches the England international, but his first touch presents it straight towards Robinson, who clears only as far as Partey. Just in from Marco Silva, who continues to patrol that technical area down below. 90 seconds remain of normal time. Can't recall too many stoppages actually in this first half, as Saka to Odegaard shoots. It was a rising left-footed effort onto his toes, easily claimed by Bernd Leno.
Yeah, I think it was always rising. I don't think it would have hit the target. I think it probably would have gone over the bar, but Leno had a great position just outside his 6-yard box and just plucked it from the air. Wow, the rain's coming down heavy. This is going to have an effect on the game.
Sports report at 5 o'clock. The results and the reaction before we go to the Amex for our next commentary of Brighton West Ham. Then it's 6:06, and at 8:30 live coverage of the World Athletic Championships with Catherine Merry, Alison Kerbishley and the team out in Hungary after 6:06. And it is teeming down. So Ramsdale, his eyes squinting, such is the ferocity of the downpour. now towards Saliba. Fleetwood 0, Shrewsbury 1 is the latest score in League One. 2 minutes of stoppage time that we'll be into when the board is up in about 30 seconds time. Here is Saka. Backpedaling is Robinson. To White. Partey now outside the centre circle in the Fulham half. A little touch there from Ødegaard. Partey feeds it to the feet of Saka. Saka up against Robinson. Robinson goes to ground. Saka wriggles away, enters the penalty area. But there again was Paulinho just filling in.
He was never getting past him, was he? Read the situation straight away, steps across, physical, strong. Just ran into a brick wall, Saka, didn't he?
I think it was Charlie Slater had said about the thunder in West London. I've just seen a flash of lightning here in North London as well, and there is the rumble of thunder too, as Fulham have to defend this corner kick. In stoppage time, Saka, corner kick right hand side towards the far post. Saliba beaten in the air by Raul Jimenez. Fulham have worked so hard.
Brilliant, Deno. It's been so impressive, the shape they've got back into. They haven't, every time that Arsenal have looked to counter, they've got back into a shape really quickly, got men behind the ball. I've been really impressed and very surprised. However, I will say Paulinho adds to that. He makes them so much more organised, more efficient in the way that they play. Really, really positive from Fulham.
Why, when people are talking about the need for a defensive midfielder, why has Paulinho not been talked about with moves to maybe one of the top 4, top 6 clubs?
Probably his age, and then maybe the fee coming in for him, what Fulham have asked for, possibly. But I'm not sure myself, Deno. If I was looking, I'd be thinking straight away, he's a player that will improve any team.
27 years of age, and Paulinho doing very well for Fulham. So the delayed Ebor as Fulham lead here by 1-0. It's our feature race. It's the Ebor handicap. And at the Knavesmire, John Hunt.
Nearing halfway here, Ian. Yes, that delay largely caused by Frankie Dettori's mount Absurd playing up before the start. He's away nicely, and interestingly, when Dettori won the race 12 months ago, he steered a very wide course early on. He's done the same again today, and so too did Real Dream. And Real Dream now cuts across to lead the field. So both those two fancied runners went very wide early. So Real Dream leads them to halfway. Berkshire Rocco sits in second place. Holly Doyle's mount Semhan is in third. Jack Finbar next, and then Keys Chorister, and Absurd and Dettori move 6. They're followed by Post Impressionist and then Live Your Dream. For Ireland, Yashin races next. The favourite Sweet William, who's on a great roll of form, is directly halfway down the field, racing together with HMS Precedent and Scriptwriter towards their outside. Adjuvants buried away further back. Rank outside of Saratoga Gold comes next. The well-fancied Scampi has only got a half a dozen runners behind them, including Yukon Glen running in his 4th Ebor. Can he crack it at last today? He represents Scottish trainer Jim Goldie. Next in the field is Enemy, and then we're looking back, way back to the ones right at the rear. Ocean Wind together with Tashcan. Last of all is Get Shirty, and just in front of him is Sun Chart. Making their way round the home turn then, the Ebor handicap, the culmination of 4 sensational days racing here at York, and the leader Ryan Moore on Real Dream. Frankie Dettori with every chance on Absurd goes second. Berkshire Rocco's in third. Post Impressionist next. Yashin picking up. Scriptwriter's going very well in behind them if he can possibly get a run. Live Your Dream looks another contender, followed then by Jack Finbar, who's also there trying to come with a chance, but Dettori's hit the front. Surely he couldn't, could he? On his last ride at York, he leads on Absurd. Sweet William giving chase in second place. Between them is Live Your Dream. Berkshire Rocco and Yukon Glen coming next. Absurd's going to have to dig very deep here, because Live Your Dream and Sweet William are both challenging an absolutely sensational finish to the Ebor. Absurd's out in front. You couldn't write it. Dettori wins the Ebor on Absurd. Beats Sweet William and Live Your Dream. Further back Yukon Glen, and then Keys Chorister. An extraordinary athlete, Frankie Dettori, age 52. His second big win of the afternoon. His last ever ride at York, and he wins the Ebor for a 3rd time.
Well, what a story, and of course you'll get more reaction and reflections on that in Sports Report with Mark Chapman. But whilst we're away there, the half-time whistle has sounded And Fulham still lead by a goal to nil through that Pereira goal inside the opening 60 seconds. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, it took everyone by surprise. Mistake from Arsenal. They capitalised on it, Fulham. And then a really smart finish from Pereira. Whether he meant it or not, I'm not so sure. I still think he went for the chip, but he wrong-footed Ramsdale, went into the bottom corner. And you have to say, Fulham have been really, really good this half. Arsenal have struggled to break them down.
And just for a bit of housekeeping, Bradford lead Crewe by a goal to nil. Peterborough 1, Derby 4, Salford 0, Accrington 2. These are all latest scores. Exeter 1, Reading 1. So Reading have equalised at Exeter in League 1. But half-time here in the pouring rain, it's Arsenal 0. Fulham 1. Mark.
And 3 of those Derby goals have been scored by Martin Waghorn. So first half hat-trick for him, and he has got 5 for the season. All the Premier League games are at half-time. How did the locals react at Old Trafford? Lee Blakeman.
United booed off after an incredible half of football, end-to-end, breathless. For the neutral, just brilliant. Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Forest 2 up in the first 4 minutes. Awani scoring a one-on-one, which came off a United corner. It was 2-0 just after. This time a Forest corner, hitting Willy Bolly. He didn't know too much about it, and the away end was absolutely bouncing as the ball hit the back of the net. United piled on the pressure after that. Chances for Anthony, Fernandes and Casemiro before Eriksson took his. Rashford with the cross, Eriksson with the tap in. In truth, it could be 3-3. At half-time, Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
Homeside lead at the break at Brentford. Charlie Slater.
Brentford 1, Palace 0. Kevin Sharder's 18th minute goal, the difference. Wonderful solo effort down the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. A skip between 2 Palace defenders and a bending finish into the far top corner. Wissa and Collins have both gone close with headers. Palace have mentioned just 1 shot on target. Brentford 1, Palace 0.
And how are the locals at Goodison Park? Maz Faruqi.
Slightly less exciting here. 0-0 at half-time. Expected, I think, given both these sides' pointless start to the season. I think Everton fans will be happy. Their best chances have been for their team. Danjuma putting the ball wide at the right-hand post, 6 yards out after he was fed by a lovely cross by Patterson. Tarkowski flashing wide of the same post as well earlier when Wolves failed to clear their area from a corner. Just before half-time as well, Decore saw a chance stolen off his toe by Bueno, but they haven't got the ball in the back of the net, and just the 2 shots on target for Wolves. I can't remember a moment of note, by the way, in front of goal at the other end for Wolves, but they have picked up 2 bookings for Semedo and João Gomez. So Everton 0, Wolves 0 at the break.
Full commentary of the tea time game between Brighton and West Ham to come here on 5 Live. Earlier, Tottenham won 2-0 at Bournemouth. In the Scottish Premiership earlier, Ross County 0, Rangers 2. At half-time at Celtic, Connie McLaughlin.
It's Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0, and on paper, Mark, you'd expect Celtic to be comfortably ahead against the Saints. Let's be honest, the pre-match stats would lead you to believe that, and they have had their chances, but it's been a similar story really to Sunday's defeat against Kilmarnock in the Viaplay Cup. Nowhere near as clinical as they were under Ange Postecoglou. Not the same urgency, not the same pace, and it looks as though the players are struggling a little bit to adapt to Brendan Rodgers' style of play. The fans will be hoping that changes, and it changes quickly. The only good news, I suppose, for them is the Celtic defensive partnership haven't had too much to do this afternoon, but you'd have to say the Saints manager Stephen McLean will be delighted at half-time, and he's going to want more of the same in the second. At half-time it's Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0.
Also at half-time in the other 2 games in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon, Hibs 0, Livingston 1 and Motherwell 0 at Kilmarnock 1 into the Championship, and we will start at Rotherham. Shojo Saka.
Rotherham 0, Leicester 1. Rotherham had the ball in the net through Jordan Hugill, but that was ruled out for a foul on the keeper by one of his teammates. Leicester's goal came after good work by Kelechi Iheanacho on the left. His cross headed in by Casey McAteer from close range, his first senior goal. Rotherham had a decent penalty shout just brushed away. They're a little unfortunate to be behind. Rotherham 0, Leicester 1 at half-time.
Let's go straight to Portman Road. It's been a fantastic first half there. There's been another goal, the 5th of the afternoon. Aaron Paul.
As on the home side have one back. Ipswich 2, Leeds 3, and this is pure opportunism from Caden Jackson, chasing down a back pass towards Ilan Meslier, taking the ball around the goalkeeper, having to stop at the byline and pick out a cross. The ball fell to Nathan Broadhead around the penalty spot. He managed to get a shot towards goal. It took a deflection off of a Leeds player but trickled into the back of the net, and there is the half-time whistle after the most fascinating, perplexing, exciting 45 minutes of football. The game started so well for Ipswich. Joe Roden with an own goal, putting the home side ahead 7 minutes in, but it was turned on its head as Leeds capitalised on Town sloppiness to build a solid advantage. Jorginho Rutter grabbed the equaliser, shifting through a static defence, firing past Vaclav Hladky. Then came Wilfred Nonto's goal, touching home at the back post following a Sam Byram cross, defence static again. And then the third, Sinistera's long range effort, too hot to handle for Hladky, and Joel Peru was there to tap home. But Nathan Broadhead has made it. Ipswich 2, Leeds 3 at half-time.
Huddersfield are yet to win this season. Norwich are unbeaten this season, so the scoreline from Sonny Rajavajula won't surprise you.
Yes, Huddersfield 0, Norwich City 2. Josh Koroma hit the post after 5 minutes for the Terriers, but that's about it. And it was all Norwich. Josh Sargent charging down goalkeeper Lee Nichols' his clearance. The bouncing ball, he headed home. He got injured in the process of doing that. And then Norwich got a second on 17 minutes. Ashley Barnes cool from the spot. 101 career goals for him. Norwich are cruising. It's Huddersfield 0, Norwich 2.
Birmingham are on a roll. Pat Murphy.
They are 1-0 they lead. Hogan the scorer on a plate from Miyoshi, the tricky Japanese winger. He couldn't really miss, but just before that, Whittaker should have scored for Plymouth, 15 yards unmarked over the bar. Hazard's made 2 fine saves for Plymouth, but they trail 1-0 to Birmingham at half-time.
Maybe this is a surprising scoreline at St Mary's from Sheridan Robbins.
Southampton 1, QPR 1. Yeah, tough afternoon so far for Southampton. They lost their captain Jack Stevens to injury midway through the first half before Sam Edozie fired home an opener, but straight away the other end, Jack Colbuck hit back with a really good long-range effort for QPR. Sinclair Armstrong did have the ball in the back of the net the second time for QPR, but it was ruled out for offside. So Southampton 1, QPR 1 at half-time.
Preston are heading for their first championship defeat of the season. Adam Cottier.
And Swansea, their first win of the season in the league after a brilliant goal from Harrison Ashby. A right foot half volley from across from Charlie Patino from the left-hand side. The bright point of a pretty poor first half, to be honest. Preston have had moments in front of goal. Masfrokia has blazed both of them over both of their best opportunities, and at half-time it's Preston 0, Swansea 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, it's goalless between Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday, and Coventry and Sunderland. At the Den, Millwall leads Stoke by a goal to 0. Kevin Nisbet has got that. And Middlesbrough, still searching for their first win in the Championship this season, are behind at the Hawthorns. West Brom 2, Middlesbrough 1. Cedric Kipre and John Swift giving the home side a 2-0 lead. Emmanuel Lath has pulled one back for Michael Carrick's side. Into League One, Stevenage against Portsmouth. Flo Pollock.
Half-time it is 0-0, an attritional physical game with Stevenage's manager getting a yellow card for his touchline behaviour. Best chance was for Stevenage, Jordan Roberts striking the post, but at half-time it is Stevenage 0, Portsmouth 0.
Elsewhere in the division, Bristol Rovers 0, Wickham 1. Joe Lowe has got that goal, 3 for the season for him. Bottom of the table, Burton against second place Bolton is goalless, as is Cheltenham against Northampton. Exeter 1, Reading 1. Not been a great first half for Scott Brown's Fleetwood. They've lost their last 4 in all competitions. They're down to 10 and behind at home to Shrewsbury by a goal to 0. The leaders Cambridge are behind as well. They trail at Leyton Orient by a goal to 0. Lincoln, who've won 3 of their last 4 under Mark Kennedy, are having a good afternoon again. They lead Blackpool by 2 goals to 0. Oxford lead Charlton 1-0 thanks to Tyler Goodrum's second of the season. As we mentioned, a Martin Waghorn hat-trick has given Derby a 4-1 lead at Peterborough. It's goalless between Port Vale and Carlisle, and Wigan, a bit like Fleetwood, have had a nightmare first half. They're down to 10 and they trail by a goal to 0 at the break at home to Barnsley. Devante Cole with the goal, 5 for the season already for Cole. Into League 2, Becky Ives watching top against bottom.
Gillingham 0, Colchester 0. It might be top versus bottom, but it's actually been a really good game. Gillingham started stronger. Timothy Dieng seeing his close range header at the back post off a corner, parried away, but Colchester have grown into this with Samson Tavide forcing a save from a tight angle at close range. 0-0.
Elsewhere in League 2, AFC Wimbledon unbeaten this season, have a 1-goal lead at the break. They're at home to Forest Green Rovers. Wrexham lead at Barrow by a goal to 0. Elliot Lee got that from the penalty spot. 5 for the season now for him. Bradford lead Crewe by a goal to 0. Harrogate 1, Morecambe 0. They're still playing at Mansfield, who trail at home to Stockport by 2 goals to 1. Good first half for MK Dons. They lead Doncaster 2-0. Goalless between Newport and Sutton. Notts County have won 2 2 of their last 3, are ahead at the break at home to Tranmere by a goal to 0. Salford, who've lost just 1 of their last 4 at home to Accrington, and Accrington lead by 2 goals to 0. Daniel Kemp's 4th of the season means Swindon lead Crawley by a goal to 0, and it's goalless between Walsall and Grimsby. In the National League, Aldershot 1, Wealdstone 0, Altrincham 0, Chesterfield 1, Boreham Wood 0, Oldham 0, goalless as well between Dagenham and Redbridge and Barnet. Dorking are a goal up at home to York. Ebbsfleet 3, 10-man Kidderminster 0. Gateshead 1, Woking 0, and it's goalless between Maidenhead and Oxford City. In the Championship, Airdrieonians 2, Inverness 0, Ayr 0, Dundee United 0, Dunfermline 0, Wraith 1, Morton 0, Arbroath 1, and Partick Thistle 2, Queen's Park 1. In League 1, Annan 1, Edinburgh City 2, Cove Rangers 0, Queen of the South 2, Hamilton 1, Montrose 0, Stirling 0, Kelty Hearts 0. In League 2, Elgin 1, East Fife 0, Forfar 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Peterhead 0, Spartans 0, Stenhousemuir 0, Dumbarton 4, and goalless between Stranraer and Clyde. They're coming to the end of the first half at Twickenham in the Rugby Union World Cup warm-up match, and it's England 8, Fiji 3. Half-time in Super League, Hull 4, Warrington 12, and the Welsh Fire currently 82 for 2 in the 100 eliminator in the women's off 67 balls against Northern Superchargers. 95 balls per side there. You can listen to it on Sports Extra. Exactly 4 o'clock. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
President of the Spanish FA, Luis Rubiales, has been suspended by FIFA after a row about the kiss he gave to Jenny Hermoso. She says he kissed her on the lips without her consent. He says it was consensual and has refused to resign. A man's due in court over the discovery of a body in Greater Manchester. Police think Donald Patience died as someone tried to steal his dog in Bury. Ian Connell is due before magistrates in Salford. One of the founders of the Taliban says most of its members don't agree with stopping girls from going to secondary school and university. Mullah Abdul Salam Zaif has been speaking to the BBC 2 years after the organisation seized back power in the country. And the head of the RMT is putting forward plans to try to end the pay dispute that's seen 20,000 rail workers in England go on strike again. Mick Lynch says some reforms can be staggered, but insists members must get a backdated pay rise and no compulsory redundancies.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
One bit of sports news, I didn't give you Max Verstappen on pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix ahead of Lando Norris. Commentary on Sports Extra tomorrow afternoon. Let's go to Twickenham. James Burridge.
Well, there's just been a huge flash of lightning, Mark. Sorry. England leading as we go into the last few seconds of the first half, 8 points to 3. The rain, just like you've been hearing everywhere else in London, and the huge bit of thunder there too. Monsoon conditions here, it's made handling very, very difficult. But Johnny May, England's ray of sunshine, he scored inside the first 10 minutes out wide. Remember, he's a late call, could be on that trip to France. Came in for Anthony Watson, scored in the left-hand corner. Fiji down to 14 and had a try ruled out for Naya Thalevu, which would have made things interesting. But as we count down to half-time amidst thunder and lightning, England 8-3 up.
The rain in London at the moment is torrential. If that hits the Oval, they are going to be in trouble today at the 100 eliminators. I mean, talk about a pointless job at half-time. A man came out with towels to try and wipe down the seats of the home dugout at the Emirates Stadium. I can't imagine it has made that much difference. Remember, in the Premier League already today, Tottenham won 2-0 at Bournemouth. Half-time in the other games, Brentford 1, Palace 0, Everton 0, Wolves 0, Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. And at the Emirates as we return, Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. Here are Stephen Warnock and Ian Shafanaka.
Thank you, Mark Clattenburg. We're back underway. And Fulham haven't made any changes, but Arsenal have. Eddie Nketiah has come on to replace Leandro Trossard. So the home side have Ramsdale in goal, Partey, White, Saliba and Kiwior, Havertz, Rice, Ødegaard, Saka, Nketiah and Martinelli. Red and white shirts, white shorts in the second half, and in the rain, playing from right to left. Fulham, white and black tops, black shorts, Leno in goal, Tete, Bassi, Diop and Robinson the back four, Paulinho, Lukic, Pereira, De Cordova, Reed, Jimenez and Wilson. How are you thinking that or what are you thinking about the Nketiah for Trossard change that Mikel Arteta has made, Stephen Warnock?
Yeah, well, I think they needed someone to occupy Bassi and Diop in that central position. I think it's been too easy for those two players just to pick up midfielders, and then Nketiah will also drop off them a little bit, which will cause them a little bit more of a problem. But Trossard just didn't have that much of an influence on the game. I think what's interesting is that we're all sat here saying, what will Mikel Arteta do at half-time? What will he change? What will improve? The interesting part about it was Marco Silva was furious on the touchline with his team because he knows his team can be better.
Saka to Ødegaard, taken off his toes by Lukic running back, cleared then by Bernd Leno. It was 35 clean sheets in his 125 appearances in 4 years as an Arsenal goalkeeper. I noticed that Marco Silva, not surprisingly, he was getting soaked with his casual wear in the first half, but he's put on a black rain jacket, as has Mikel Arteta, as they both stand on the edge of their technical areas watching on, as Fulham with this unexpected lead, however a deserved lead.
Yeah, it is a deserved lead. It's one that they're going to have to try and hold on to in the second half. Will they commit men forward as much as they did in the first half? Will the legs allow them to do that? I think one thing that'll be interesting to see this second half is how Palhinha continues. Hasn't really had a pre-season.
Ball out to Saka, right side of the penalty area. Saka balls it back, bypasses Ødegaard, kept alive by Rice to Ødegaard, right corner of the area. As it's back with Saka once again, tries to wriggle away from Robinson. Robinson back goal side. Saka looks to create the opening, does shoot left-footed, and just patted down really by Leno on his knees.
Yeah, but also the position of Bernd Leno, making sure that he's forward in the box, making sure that he's towards the 6-yard line. It narrows the angle down. It doesn't allow Saka to find that far corner, makes it more difficult for him to get that shot away.
Bassi hits it up towards Jimenez, doesn't really stick though with the Mexican international, as he loses the ball inside his own half. Saliba, Arsenal remember playing in this second half from right to left as we look. Saliba in the centre circle to White, what you'd say was an orthodox right back position at that stage. He now ventures forward after collecting the ball from Rice. Saka is out to his right, level of the area, coming in off that touchline now. Fulham have got everybody back bar Pereira and Jimenez. This is White who turns, he's done well. Then he's just there again, Palhinha. Absolutely outstanding Palhinha, just breaking up the play, right time for Fulham, although Arsenal have just won it back.
Yeah, it was a battle between him and Declan Rice in midfield, and Rice came out on top, and Arsenal, a wave of attacks come again.
And it's with Saka up against Robinson, who backpedals. Saka once again looks to try and create that opening, goes in between two Fulham players, and then does play the ball into the penalty area. Diop's clearance only as far as Ødegaard, who side onto goal, drifts back out towards the right hand side. But Fulham defending in numbers and defending very, very well with their discipline and the organisation. 4 minutes into the second half, Saliba comes forward now. Kivior provides the width on this near side, the left, as the ball is back with Saliba to Rice, dropping in between the two central defenders. A curling low ball to Ødegaard, coming in off the right touchline, right corner of the area. He points that Saka to go on the overlap, doesn't use him, but will win a corner kick. Will he? No, it'll be a goal kick. Let's go to Old Trafford. The last we heard, it was Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Lee Blakeman.
Still is, but Forest could have had a third. Gibbs White, left side of the area, cross across the face of goal. Brilliant clearance by Dalot to stop Johnson getting a tap in. United have brought on Lindelof for Varane at half time. United 1, Forest 2.
Sheffield Wednesday, pointless in the Championship. They've lost all three against a Cardiff side who are yet to win themselves, but it's Cardiff who are leading by 1-0. Let's go to Brentford. Charlie Slater.
51 minutes on the clock here. Still Brentford 1, Palace 0. We've had a long stoppage. The thunder continues to rumble, and I don't want to turn it into a weather forecast again, but Brentford on the ball here. Now with Palace. Ayew, edge of the area, tries to get a shot off. That'll be blocked. It's still 1-0 to Brentford.
Swindon Town 2, Crawley 0. Burton lead Bolton by 1-0 in League One. It remains Fulham who are leading here against Arsenal 1-0. Everton Wolverhampton Wanderers, Mas Faruqi.
Back underway here, Gary O'Neill has subbed Hwang Hee-chan. He's brought on 8-Nori instead. Remember, no shots on target yet in this match for Wolves, and it's still goalless. Everton 0, Wolves 0.
Commentary to come with Alistair Bruce-Ball and Steve Sidwell from the Amex. If it starts raining there, those two will get soaked because our position is so low down. As that commentary to come at 5:30 after Sports Report. And Calvin Bassey, whilst we were away, for time wasting, shown a yellow card, Stephen.
Yeah, he just tried to slow the game down, taking a goal kick. You can hear the frustrations around Arsenal's the Emirates now as Fulham come on the counter-attack.
De Cordova-Reid running forward, edge of the area. Oh, and in the end, he tried to plant a right-footed shot to the right corner of the penalty, and it was Ramsdale flying away to his left, had it covered, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, but Raul Jimenez almost got a header on it, didn't he? Almost just deflected it into the goal, but there's the signs from Fulham. They believe when they do get men forward and they commit them wholeheartedly, they can cause Arsenal problems at the back, and if that was what I was alluding to with Marco Silva, he believes if they can beat the press, they can cause Arsenal more problems.
Here is Saliba at the heart of that Arsenal defence. 12 clean sheets in 27 before that back injury, and then it was only 2 clean sheets in the last 11 without him. As Ødegaard runs forward, he wants Nketiah to make the run. Instead he holds on to the ball, he's midway through his own half. Now it's with Saliba, Martinelli on this near side, Kiwior on the halfway line, back to Saliba. Hits the ball forward now to Nketiah, up against Calvin Bassey, and it is with Nketiah, who's done well. Now Martinelli to Havertz, left-hand side of the penalty area, and offside. Havertz straying into an offside position. Goal at Old Trafford, Lee Blakeman.
United are level, it's 2-2. Rashford with the ball over the top, headed down by Fernandes, and Casemiro got the tap in inside the 6 yards area, and this place has gone balmy. Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 2.
And Sani Rudra-Bachelor has news of a goal at Huddersfield.
It's now Huddersfield 0, Norwich City 3. 48 minutes on the clock. Great work by Adam Eder down the right-hand side, and Jonathan Rowe with his 5th goal in 5 games. The 20-year-old has made it Huddersfield 0, Norwich City 3.
Elsewhere, West Brom 3, Middlesbrough 1. That's in the Championship at Vale Park in League 1. It's Port Vale 1, Carlisle United 0. And you're up to date on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. 8 minutes into the second half. Kiwior looking to try and get that run of Havertz, but again, Fulham prevent it from finding its way through. Tete, the right back, to Wilson, challenged by Kiwior, runs out of play for a throw. There was a spell in the first half where you thought, well, this is the goal's going to come, but they haven't really been able to get into any sort of a rhythm yet, the home team.
No, they were on the ropes, Fulham, for the last 5 or 10 minutes of the first half, but they just sort of backed themselves onto it. Fulham held the ground, took the blows, and now they've come back out with a belief again that, is that the best you've got to give? I don't think it is. I think there's more to come from Arsenal, but the more organised and the more stubborn they can be, the more frustrated Arsenal will get in this second half.
Stephen Warnock, over 500 appearances in his 20-year playing career, with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Barrow with an equaliser at home to Wrexham in League 2, and also in that division, Swindon Town will be remaining unbeaten. They've got a third. Swindon 3, Crawley 0 is the latest score in League 2. As you just looked to the skies then, that flash of lightning really caught your attention, didn't it?
It certainly did.
Here is Wilson for Fulham. This is certainly I could dare I say the goal from Fulham was a bolt from the blue inside the opening 60 seconds as De Cordova-Reid's cross from the left is headed out by White. Bassey was very impressed with Calvin Bassey when he helped Rangers reach the Europa League final. Zinchenko is going to be coming on as well, so Mikel Arteta is going to be making another change. You would think Kiwior to go off, would you?
Yeah, possibly. Not struggled at left back, but just out of his depth in that position. He's a centre-back by trade. He hasn't really been able to influence the game by going forward and have an influence on it, so it wouldn't be a surprise if that is the change. However, he surprised everyone. It's Thomas Partey.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a double change as well. So let's get news of the cricket with Melissa Story.
Well, more bad weather here from the Oval as the players have been taken off the field with reports of lightning. This means that they have to stay off the pitch for at least 30 minutes, with the Welsh Fire going along nicely at the moment. They're just 2 wickets down, but the players off for lightning here.
Thank you, Melissa. So Zinchenko on, and Fabio Vieira is also on. It's Kai Havertz and Thomas Partey who came off. So Fabio Vieira for Arsenal, still trailing by a 1-0. Just let the game settle down and see where those changes are going to take place for Mikel Arteta's side as they look for an equaliser. Manchester United, remember, were 2-0 down inside the opening 4 minutes. They're now level. Lee?
United 2, Forest 2. United should be ahead. Ian Anthony, edge of the area, left foot curler. It looked like he was going to find the corner of the net. Matt Turner, brilliant save at full stretch to keep it at 2-2.
Arsenal have got a corner kick and they want to take it quickly. So Martinelli races over to this near side. The Arsenal support is vocal. Right arm aloft, near side. That's not the thunder, that's the beat of the drum. Corner kick taken now in towards the near post. Diop heads it away, edge of the area, Ødegaard. Martinelli sliding on the wet surface, did ever so well to keep that ball in play. Zinchenko retrieves it on the halfway line left of the centre circle, now towards White. Rice quickly passes the ball out towards that far side. Bukayo Saka towards White, who rolls away from Di Cordova-Reid to Ødegaard. A little bit slicker that from Arsenal. Zinchenko now feeds it from the midfield towards Martinelli. He's up against Tete, one-on-one. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Zinchenko now will come on the overlap. Here is the Ukrainian international with a low cross, cut out and out of play. It goes for a throw. We'll go to Rotherham. Shojo Saka.
Rotherham 1, Leicester 1. Rotherham have been pushing for an equaliser. They've got it. They deserve it. Fred Onyedinma, glancing header in off the post. Rotherham 1, Leicester 1.
Here is Rice. Fulham still lead by a 1-0. More rumbles of thunder over the Emirates. Ødegaard thought about the shot, does shoot, and the keeper Leno gathers it in at the second attempt.
Yeah, better from Arsenal. They're just trying to change the way they play. Ben White's now gone to right back. Kivior's gone into the central position alongside Saliba. Zinchenko into his natural left back position, but also the inverted position. Oh, mistake by Bassi. Oh, he's closed down by Ødegaard, and it just went into the arms of Leno. So dangerous at times playing out the way they do, Fulham.
Tommy Smith has been sent off for Middlesbrough. They're 3-1 down at West Bromwich Albion. Walsall 0, Grimsby 1 is the latest score in League 2. Doncaster have actually got a goal back at MK Dons. MK Dons 2, Doncaster Rovers 1 in League 2, and also in that division, Newport County 0, Sutton United 1. There's a slight stoppage in play. It is Issa Diop who is down, and that means we can nip to Portman Road. Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 2, Leeds 3. Daniel Farke has reacted to his side conceding a sloppy second on the stroke of half-time, subbing the sub Cody Drame. He's been hooked at half-time after coming on in the 24th minute with Jamie Shackleton going to full-back. Ipswich 2, Leeds 3.
Of the Royal Blues of Ipswich Town to the Blues of Birmingham and Pat Murphy.
It's still 1-0 to Birmingham. The Birmingham fans getting behind them now, singing keep right on to the end of the road, because they know that Plymouth are launching an offensive in this second half. They've got a lot more progressive. Whittaker has hit the angle of the post and bar. John Ruddy beaten. It's Birmingham 1, they're hanging on. Plymouth Argyle 0.
Wouldn't necessarily say that Fulham are hanging on at the moment, would you?
No, they're not. They're doing extremely well. It's a great battle. It's a great game. It really is. I've loved every minute of it.
Ball to Saliba, tidies up to Ramsdale, who heads it, and it went towards White. He had to react very, very quickly because Jimenez was putting him under real pressure, and he did well, did the England international. Zinchenko now to Ødegaard, out towards Saka, right-hand side. Saka has got White on the overlap. He was powering up on the outside. Bukayo Saka, who today has set a new Premier League record of 83 successive Premier League games for the club. However, he's still got some way to go to beat the all-time record, because of course there was football before the invention of the Premier League. But here is Ødegaard over the top, and that record of most consecutive appearances, Tom Parker, 172 from 1926 to 1929. Do you know he only missed 6 games in 7 seasons?
How many of them did you watch?
Where's that yellow card? There's a Fulham player down. He'll have to leave the field of play once he's been tended to. Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Let's go back to Manchester United. Lee Blakeman.
It's Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 2. United should be ahead. Another chance for Fernandes. Low cross in. Fernandes with a flick, agonisingly wide of the bottom right corner as Sancho comes on for Martial. 2-2.
So there's still a stoppage in play. Pereira's now got the physios on the far side. Tom Kearney's going to be coming on. This will all add to the additional time to be at the end of the game. Leyton Orient 2, Cambridge 0 is the latest score in League One, and I'm hearing of 2 red cards at Stevenage. Flo Pollock.
That's right, Stevenage 0, Portsmouth 0, but a player from both sides has been sent off, so it is 10 v 10. There was a tussle off the ball, bit of afters, referee didn't like it, showed the red. Stevenage 0, Portsmouth 0.
Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Pereira's going to be coming off. Where will we go next then in the 5 Live? It's to Everton, Maz Faruqi.
Still goalless, but Wolves with a couple of great moments. Fabio Silva just shooting wide of the right-hand post, and just before that he had the ball in the back of the net, but he was just marginally offside as he poked the bar past the oncoming Pickford. Still Everton 0, Wolves 0.
Bolton have equalised at Burton. We've got commentary to come from Brighton at 5:30 after Sports Report. 5 Live Premier League Sunday from midday tomorrow with Alistair Bruce Ball, actually. Sheffield United, Manchester City at 2. To be followed by Newcastle Liverpool at 4:30. Both games live on 5 Live as Kearney comes on for the goal scorer Pereira. Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman at 7. Tuesday League Cup second round with Kelly Cates, and on Wednesday more League Cup action live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Play's about to get underway. So Pereira replaced by Tom Kearney as the ball is seen back by Zinchenko to Ramsdale. Goal now at St Andrews. Pat Murphy.
Equaliser for Plymouth Argyle. It's been coming. A shot from 15 yards, palmed away by Ruddy into the path of Ryan Hardy, who scored a lot of goals for Argyle the last couple of years. He made no mistake. It's Birmingham 1, Plymouth Argyle 1.
And here it's Fulham who still lead by a goal to 0. Zinchenko takes over in the centre circle to Ødegaard. He's got 2 out to his right hand side. One of them is White, takes in his stride, cut back to Ødegaard. Stepping out of defence though is Calvin Bassey. Powerful defender, strong running, then eventually gets away from Ødegaard. He's got 3 Arsenal players around him, Calvin Bassey, but he's done ever so well and eventually squeezes the ball forward to Jimenez. But now there's a hole where he's vacated, but Arsenal are unable to get it forward as Fabio Vieira goes the long way around. 2 flashes of lightning above the Emirates is now to Martinelli. Martinelli inside to Zinchenko. Not too sure if we could hear the loud clap of thunder from Arif Exmai because Ødegaard does well midway through. Good ball through to Nketiah. Nketiah, the angle is tight across the face of goal. Martinelli to Fabio Vieira. Fulham get the ball away. That was the first bit of incision from Arsenal.
Yeah, it was. Lovely run from Nketiah and the vision by Ødegaard, then the ability to complete the pass. But one thing that he did extremely well there was Diop. He didn't go towards Nketiah, he just held his ground in the middle because he knew that the angle was tight and he'd have to cross the ball. Stood his ground, managed to get numbers back, and then he cleared it.
Last season, Fulham, 22 of their 38 Premier League games were settled by a 1-goal margin. They won 9, they lost 13. Already this season they've eked out a 1-0 win at Everton, despite Everton having something like 9 shots on target on the opening day. They're leading by a goal to 0 here at the Emirates. Let's get news of the Rugby Union. England, Fiji, James Burridge.
A dramatic start to the second half. Fiji have the lead. Naisalevu under to the right of the post after Ravamatala totally beat Johnny May for pace down the right wing. Fiji 10 points to 8 up early in the second half.
Fulham haven't kept a clean sheet at Arsenal in the last 16 games since a goalless draw in 2009. But 65 minutes on the clock. They do have that intact at the moment as they still protect that 1-0 lead. Zinchenko cut out by Wilson. Foul. And that will be a yellow card. Sasa Lukic is shown the yellow card. Now the ball's just been kicked away there. Now this is where you'd expect the referee Paul Tierney to take further action, would you not?
Well, I just think a little bit of common sense as well. Don't get carried away. I think a lot's been made of this new rule, kicking the ball away and things, yellow cards being shown. I don't think it was intentionally kicked away as such. It's just kicked to an Arsenal player.
Common sense prevails, as Stephen Warnock had correctly called, but Lukic was booked for the earlier challenge. From that free kick, the intensity of the rain has returned. Arsenal still probing. Haven't found a way through. They have lacked penetration at times. They have been patient. Now it's with Martinelli. Nice touch, right-footed. Slips it into the path of Fabio Vieira. Vieira goes down. Penalty, surely. Yes. Vieira was just too quick. And Tete was shown he's been given away the penalty. Clear penalty.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, don't go to ground. Don't commit yourself, because there's still so much more that can happen. He has to get to the ball, he has to pull the right pass back, but he just dives in. Tete switched off for a second, lovely slide ball down the side of him, but it was going to take a mistake for Fulham to either concede a goal or concede an opportunity, and Kenny Tete's give that to Arsenal.
And Ødegaard, who of course scored from the spot in the win against Crystal Palace for what was only his second career penalty. Well, he did pick up the ball, but instead he's handed it to Bukayo Saka. Saka's record, 4 from 5 for Arsenal. He missed against West Ham in April. Hibs have equalised at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Livingston 1, Oxford 1, Charlton 1. Gillingham 0, Colchester United 1 is the latest score in League 2. And there is a delay, so VAR must be having a look at this. Darren England is the VAR official. The fact that they're checking for a possible offside leading up to the penalty award. I was just about to say, the fact that there is a delay suggests that there's something in it, but no offside offence from Martinelli. So the penalty stands, and now this is a chance for Bukayo Saka, who places the ball down in the spot. We're midway through the second half. You're listening to 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. We're in the pouring rain. It's currently Arsenal 0, Fulham 1. And Saka waits. Actually hasn't walked away from the ball just as yet, as Paul Tierney's making sure every player remains outside the penalty area. Bernd Leno, the former Arsenal goalkeeper who saved 3 of 25 Premier League penalties. It's a short run up from Saka. And the referee's not happy. He's running forward and he wants to make sure that the ball is correctly on the spot. And he adjusts the ball with his right boot. Saka picks it up and places the ball down. It all adds to the tension. More thunder. De Cordova-Reid is having a word. Declan Rice walks him away. And Saka once again has to go through the whole process once more. 2-3 steps back. Bukayo Saka waits, looking for an equaliser for Arsenal. Bernd Leno, former Arsenal keeper, on his goal line. Saka scores. Left-footed, finds the bottom right-hand corner. And Bukayo Saka with the equaliser, to the delight of the Emirates. 1-1.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka wins the battle of the minds between himself and Bernd Leno. Former teammate will know where he likes to go, will know the body movements of Bukayo Saka. And Saka wins the battle, dispatches it, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and the Emirates has just erupted.
There's been a goal at Southampton in the Championship. Sheridan Robbins.
Southampton 2, QPR 1. Russell Martin made the changes and Ryan Fraser played a big part in that goal. Adam Armstrong putting them in the lead from close range. Southampton 2, QPR 1.
And a goal at Deepdale, Adam Cottier.
Preston 1, Swansea 1. Andrew Hughes with a fabulous guided header from Alan Brown's right wing cross. Preston 1, Swansea 1.
Ascending off at Old Trafford, Lee Blakeman.
It's 2-2, Forest down to 10. Joe Worrell shown a straight red card for bringing down Bruno Fernandes in the D. which is where United now have a free kick. 20 to play, 2-2.
What's the latest at Brentford? Charlie Slater.
Less than 20 to go, still 1-0 to Brentford against Palace, but Palace so close to an equaliser. A brilliant double save from Mark Fleckham, first from a header down low to his left, straight to Jordan Ayew, and he managed to get up to make the second save as well. Still 1-0 to Brentford.
Hibs 1, Livingston 2 is the latest score at Easter Road. Notts County 2, Tranmere 0 is the latest from Meadow Lane in League 2. What's the latest at Everton? Maz Faruqi.
Great chance for Everton. Decore looking certain to score. His header into the ground, looks certain to make the back of the net billow, but somehow Sarr scrambled back and got there. This game is really opening up now, but it's still goalless between Everton and Wolves.
Fulham's double change was Harrison Reed for Lukic in the midfield. Adama Traore has replaced Harry Wilson. It's 1-1. We've got 19 minutes remaining. Ramsdale over on that far side to Saliba. The Arsenal supporters have stayed with their team throughout the whole afternoon despite the frustrations.
I think there's been elements of frustration just because they know what this team's capable of. I think they want more tempo, but I think there has to be a respect for how Fulham have played as well and how difficult they've made it for Arsenal. And I said early on, they'll have to be patient, and they have been.
Vieira in towards Saka, shrugged off by Calvin Bassey. They go down in a challenge. Referee excellently positioned. Paul Tierney says no penalty. But Arsenal try and win the ball look high with Ødegaard. It breaks free from Ødegaard. And there was Saka, who cuts the ball out towards Vieira. Bassey's still down. Arsenal have turned it around. And Nketiah, Fulham protest because Bassey was still in the penalty area. But Nketiah off the bench, and in no time at all, Arsenal have come from behind and lead by 2-1.
Well, Paul Tierney has just pointed, saying it's not a head injury. It's only an injury. I don't have to blow the whistle. It's up to you to put the ball out to play. Marco Silva is furious down in front of us. He's so angry. But Adama Traore is sloppy down in front of us on the touchline, gives the ball away. Arsenal take it down the left-hand side, fizz it across the box, and Nketiah has had such a big impact on this game in the second half. He's a poacher. He wants to score goals. He gets himself in behind, and that is a great finish from him.
Stuart Gray also having a word with the fourth official. The Fulham bench are absolutely livid down there. Marco Silva, who's got rid of the rain jacket. It's almost like a two-tone grey jumper that he's wearing now because his shoulders are absolutely soaked wet through. The fourth official's getting it from the right, he's getting it from the left. Paul Tierney is now having a word with Stuart Gray. Fulham are incensed, but as you say, it was not a head injury. Calvin Bassey had stayed down in the penalty area, and a yellow card has been shown. That's for the substitute goalkeeper, Marek Rodek, who's been shown a yellow. And there might be further yellow cards to follow as well, because there it is to Marco Silva, who's still pointing and still complaining. Paul Tierney walks away now. Marco Silva's got to be careful here. He is once again having now confronting the fourth official, Thomas Bramall. He is livid. But Arsenal, their patience has paid off.
Yeah, it has. They've been calm. They've made sure when they've had the opportunities, they've taken advantage of it, and they've taken advantage of Bassey being down. Diop was left on his own in the middle of the box trying to deal with Nketiah. But you can't deal with the quality of ball that was coming in from the left-hand side. It was a brilliant ball from Vieira that came into the middle, almost undefendable.
2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. Swindon 5, Crawley 0 is a latest score. Plays about to get underway with Arsenal now leading by 2-1. A quick turnaround. Let's go to Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
United have got a corner. It's still 2-2. Fernandes has just gone close. Anthony keeps trying his luck from the edge of the area, but United can't find a way past the 10 men of Forest as the cross goes in, and it's put behind for another corner. 2-2.
So 2-2 there, 2-1 here as Fulham now come forward with Robinson. We said that Arsenal's patience has paid off. Somebody who else has been Extremely patient is Becky Ives, but we'll go to Priestfield in a moment. Instead, a goal at Brentford, Charlie Slater.
Palace have themselves an equaliser, and from the most unlikely of sources, Joachim Andersen, on his 100th Premier League appearance, he's only trying to keep the ball in along the goal line, tries to cut it back, and instead it's span in and over the goal line. It's now Brentford 1, Palace 1 inside the last 15.
Fulham looking for a corner, not awarded. Instead, it's a goal kick. Sutton a level at Newport. Newport 1, Sutton 1, Lincoln 3, Blackpool 0. Blackpool are down to 10 men. Oliver Norburn has been sent off at Sinsel Bank. Gillingham, Colchester then, Becky Ives.
Gillingham 0, Colchester 1. Fiacre Kelleher slammed home from close range after a pinball in the area off a Colchester United corner. Gillingham 0, Colchester 1.
That would be a surprise. Colchester pointless. Gillingham the only side with a 100% record in League Two. 14 minutes of normal time remaining, and Arsenal 2, Fulham 1 is the latest score. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Brentford 1, Palace 1, Everton 0, Wolves 0, Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Team news now from Brighton. In our next commentary at 5:30, Alistair Bruce Ball.
Brighton against West Ham, 2 changes apiece for 2 unbeaten teams. Bart Verbruggen makes a debut in goal for Brighton. Evan Ferguson in for the injured Enciso. Naif Aguerd suspended for West Ham, so Ogbona's in at the back, and a first start for Edson Alvarez in place of Ben Rama.
Straight to Old Trafford, penalty, Lee Blakeman.
And it's gone to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes has put the ball on the spot. He's walking back slowly, given for a foul by Danilo on Marcus Rashford. We have got 14 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Forest down to 10. Stuart Atwell makes sure everybody's outside the penalty area. This to complete the comeback. It is Bruno Fernandes with a slow run up, and in it goes! And Manchester United from 2-0 down with 15 minutes to go lead Nottingham Forest by 3 goals to 2.
And here at the Emirates, it's Arsenal who lead by 2 goals to 1. So both Manchester United and Arsenal staging comebacks on this Saturday afternoon. Arsenal on that far side. Saka, Fabio Vieira turns away midway through the Fulham half. Now out towards Martinelli. The substitutions have made a real impact from Mikel Arteta. Zinchenko level the penalty area on the left. Rice, and Arsenal keeping the ball now. And then to Vieira, who loses out to Tete, who hooks it clear. Let's get an update in the Rugby Union. James Burridge.
A second try for Fiji. This is an astonishing scoreline. They lead by 17 points to 8. This time Habosi sneaking through at the breakdown. England were nowhere. They were totally asleep, and the left winger picked up the ball and sprinted clear. Fiji 17-8 up here at Twickenham.
And Arsenal, one of 3 sides with 100% winning starts to the Premier League. Brighton, who are in our next commentary at 5:30. Manchester City at Sheffield United tomorrow. You'll hear that on Sunday afternoon, are the other 2. Sheffield Wednesday have equalised at Cardiff. It's Cardiff 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1 in the Championship. Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 2 is the latest score in League One. I'll rattle through all the latest scores in all the divisions ahead of Sports Report that's coming up with Mark Chapman very, very soon. But here now, Arsenal full control, Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, very comfortable. Now they can play the football that they want to play. They can shift Fulham about. They can make it difficult.
Ooh! Leno surely caught that outside his area, did he not?
Well, he had a really good line on it. Paul Tierney, he was on line with the ball, with Bent Leno. Straight away, he just turned away. He was happy with the decision.
So latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic St Johnstone remains 0-0, incidentally. Hibs 1, Livingston 2, Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1. The result earlier was Ross County 0, Rangers 2. It would mean that Celtic have just a 1-point lead at the top of the table if it remains goalless at Parkhead. In League 2, a goal at Priestfield, Becky Ives.
Gillingham 2, Colchester 0. Samson Davide chested it down from his chest onto his foot, volley into the bottom right-hand corner. Gillingham 0, Colchester 2.
Now we've seen Marco Silva get a yellow card. Mikel Arteta reacted furiously when he thought that Leno had handballed outside his area, and Mikel Arteta has now been shown a yellow card from referee Paul Tierney as well. It's this robust approach, the behaviour on the pitch as well as off it, that the referees and the officials are keen to stamp out. Just over 10 minutes remain. Fulham now looking for an equaliser. Paulinho, high ball, Dico Dovarid, left-hand side of the penalty box for Fulham, to Robinson. Works it inside. Kearney, the substitute. Midway through the Arsenal half, passes it back to Bassi, to Paulinho. Now with Diop, his forward ball cut out by Zinchenko. Forward from Rice to Ødegaard. Rice now releases Nketiah. He's got Martinelli up with him. Nketiah, Martinelli now going ahead of him. Martinelli is there, but it's just snuffed out by Diop. As these are the latest scores in League Two. Wimbledon 1, Forest Green 1, Barrow 1, Wrexham 1, Bradford still lead Crewe by a goal to nil. Gillingham 0, Colchester 2 as we heard from Becky. Harrogate 2, Morecambe 0, Morecambe are down to 10 men. MK Dons 2, Doncaster Rovers 1. Doncaster still only a point bottom of League Two. Mansfield 1, Stockport County 2. That could be the end of that unbeaten start for Nigel Clough's start to the season for his side. Newport 1, Sutton 1, Notts County 2, Tranmere 0, Salford 0, Accrington 2, Swindon 5, Crawley 0, Walsall 0, Grimsby 1. League One and the Championship to come. We'll go around the grounds in the Premier League as well in a moment. 9 minutes remain of normal time here on 5 Live in the World Service, where Fulham now with Kearney seeing most of the ball that they've had in this second half, really, with Kearney running into the penalty area left hand side, squirts out towards Robinson, lifts over the cross, and the header from Traore has no impact whatsoever. So we'll go to Brentford Crystal Palace and Charlie Slater.
82 minutes on the clock. Brentford 1, Palace 1, though Jordan Ayew nearly gave Palace the lead a few moments ago from an acute angle, edge of the 6-yard box, turned and volleyed it across the face of goal. Still 1-1.
Goal at Deepdale, Adam Cottier.
Preston have turned this one around. They lead Swansea 2-1. Dwayne Holmes with his first goal for North End from Masperokia's pass in the penalty area. Right foot shot high into the net. They lead 2-1.
Corner kick to Fulham, trailing by 2-1 are the away side. Reed to take it. They're playing from left to right. Corner near side the right. Reed right footed, headed out there by Kivior. Comes to Saliba. Saliba holds on to the ball. He's got Ødegaard going ahead of him, and Nketiah through the middle. Just can't find that pass. Saliba, the Fulham shirt, Stephen Warnock were quick to try and get back in numbers.
Yeah, they have been all game. They've recovered into the shape extremely well. They're just trying to release a few more players up the field now. Fulham, they know they want to try and get back into this game, and they're going to have to be a little bit braver in throwing those players forward.
This is Diop just inside the Arsenal half. It's a raking ball out towards Di Cordova-Reid, controls it, swings over the cross, cleared away by Vieira, and Nketiah tries to touch it, and then he's held up by Calvin Bassey, and that will be a yellow card by Calvin Bassey. But Calvin Bassey was booked earlier, and it's a second yellow card, and Fulham's problems are mounting, and Bassey's been dismissed. Fulham are down to 10. Bassey sent off, and Paul Tierney with that second yellow card, and Calvin Bassey, who was booked 5 minutes into the second half, has been shown a second yellow and then the subsequent red. So, a goal at Ipswich Town, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 2, Leeds 4. That may just be the points for Leeds. A blistering counter-attack found Sinistera on the left, and he buried the ball past Václav Hladky. Ipswich 2, Leeds 4.
Let's go to Masparuki at Goodison Park.
Everton thought they had the lead. Decore with the ball in the back of the net, but his right knee was marginally offside as he ran onto the ball in the area. 8 minutes to go. Still Everton 0, Wolves 0.
Jorginho is going to replace Ødegaard. Try for England, 15-20 in that Rugby Union World Cup warm-up game. Ødegaard comes off, Jorginho comes on. These are the latest scores in League One. Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 2, Burton 1, Bolton 1, Cheltenham Northampton's goalless, Exeter 1, Reading 1, Fleetwood 0, Shrewsbury 1. Fleetwood are down to 10 men. Leyton Orient lead Cambridge 2-0. Blackpool are down to 10 men. They're trailing at Sincilbank to Lincoln City by 3-0. It's Oxford 1, Charlton 1, Peterborough 1, Derby County 4. A hat-trick for Martin Waghorn. Port Vale 1, Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0, Portsmouth 0. Both teams have had a player sent off, and Wigan 0, Barnsley 1. Wigan also down to 10 men. Latest scores in the Championship to come. We'll go to Old Trafford. Manchester United, Nottingham Forest. Lee Blakeman.
United leading Forest 3-2, but Forest with 10 men have just had a chance to equalise. Gibbs White with a free kick swung in. Awani's header was off target. Do not write Forest off yet. United lead 3-2.
Commentary to come from Brighton at 5:30. Latest scores in the Championship as promised. Birmingham 1, Plymouth 1, Cardiff 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Coventry and Sunderland's 0-0, Huddersfield 0, Norwich 3. Huddersfield still yet to win this season. Ipswich 2, Leeds United 4, as we've been hearing from Aaron Paul. Millwall leads Stoke by a 0-0. Preston North End 2, Swansea City 1. Preston North End, who are unbeaten in the Championship. Elsewhere it's Rotherham 1, Leicester 1, Southampton 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1 and West Bromley, the 10 men of Middlesbrough, by 3 goals to 1. Our featured game in League 2 has seen another goal. Becky Ives.
Gillingham 0, Colchester 3, and it was Bradley Ionvian who kept himself onside. The ball looped over the top. We all thought he was offside, but no, the flag stayed down, chipped the keeper. Gillingham 0, Colchester 3.
Match abandoned at the 100. Melissa Story.
Yeah, the rain just relenting too much here, and the covers are still on, so the teams have agreed that the game has been abandoned, meaning the Northern Superchargers proceed to the final tomorrow against the Southern Brave.
Not surprised, given the weather that we've had, as the ball goes through to Ramsdale. Arsenal leading by 2 goals to 1. Brentford 1, Palace 1. Still no goals at Goodison. Manchester United have turned it around, leading there, of course, by 3 goals to 2. They were 2-0 down to Nottingham Forest, who've had Joe Worrell sent off. Newport 2, Sutton 1, Hibs 1, Livingston 3. And Forest Green have got an equaliser at Wimbledon. So that's 1-1 in League 2. Walsall have got a late equaliser at home to Grimsby Town, 1-1, as Adama goes to ground under the challenge of Zinchenko, back to his feet in these slippery conditions. Adama into the penalty area, wins a corner kick for Fulham as they look for a late equaliser. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, he does well down that right hand side. I'm surprised Zinchenko hasn't been booked. He left the challenge in on him as he ran past him, but this is an opportunity now. Hold the ball up, give your 2 centre backs the opportunity. Diop and Paulinho to go for the header, perhaps cause some problems here late on.
So Reed to take it, near side the right footed corner, and it comes. Paulinho on the half volley, right footed, finds the bottom left hand corner, and Fulham stun the Emirates with a late equaliser at 2-2.
Oh, there's a little bit of something down on the bench as well between Marco Silva, whether it's the 4th official or Mikel Arteta. The celebrations were aimed towards the other bench and the 4th official. He's delighted. Great corner in from Harrison Reed, little flick on at the near post, and then clinical from Paulinho, who finishes it into the bottom corner. He's been the outstanding player for Fulham. If anyone deserved a goal today, it was him.
Well, he does pop up with the goal from time to time, and that has stunned the Emirates into silence. 2-2 live on BBC Radio 5 Live. The goals as they go in, and another one here at Rotherham. Shocho Saka.
Rotherham 1, Leicester 2. Casey McAteer had not scored a senior goal before today. He's got 2 this afternoon. Left foot finish past the keeper. Rotherham 1, Leicester 2.
Final change being made for Fulham, and it's a defensive reinforcement. Tosin is going to be coming on. Di Cordova-Reid is going to be the player who goes off. Now, it was 0-0 at Goodison Park, but there's been a late goal. Mas Faruqi.
And the away section has gone absolutely bonkers. Sasa Kalajic bundling the ball into the back of the net. He's just come on as a sub, and he's just put Wolves ahead. Everton 0, Wolves 1.
So Tosin comes on. They're going to go with 3 at the back.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think if you've got Tosin in there, well, no, you'll probably go with Tosin alongside alongside Diop. I think what Paulinho will do is just step in every now and again and pick up the midfielder.
Well, Paulinho has had a terrific game, and he certainly caught it very, very well from that corner on the right-hand side. 2-2 as Arsenal try to edge back in front. When you think as well, that stoppage from the penalty award to the actual goal that was converted, that was around 3 minutes. That alone will be added on as Arsenal can't find a way through. Diop has cleared it away. Goal at Huddersfield. Sani.
Yes, Huddersfield 0, Norwich City 4, 84 minutes on the clock, and it's Adam Edar, the man who came up for scorer Josh Sargent. He's got himself on the score sheet too. Cool finish, through on goal. Huddersfield 0, Norwich 4.
Here is Zinchenko. Zinchenko waits. The Emirates has been rocks with that late equaliser for Fulham. Jorginho to White, lays it off first time. Saka edge of the area, back towards Jorginho, works it to White, first time cross, early, hit low, hit true, comes back towards White, it's been sliced behind. To Priestfield we go. Becky Ives.
Yeah, Ethan Coleman has been sent off for Gillingham. Their woes continue. Straight red card this afternoon. Gillingham 0, Colchester 3.
Corner kick to Arsenal. Far side the right. Middlesbrough got a goal back. The 10 men of Middlesbrough, incidentally. West Bromwich Albion 3, Middlesbrough 2 is a latest score at the Hawthorns. 2-2 here at the Emirates. Arsenal from right to left. Corner kick comes in. Far side the right. Headed out by Paulinho. I was to ask Stephen Warnock who'd be man of the match. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually nominated the Portuguese international. 9 minutes of additional time, which we're now into. Gabriel Jesus is going to be coming off, Arsenal's number 9. But here is their 14, Nketiah. It was a low right-footed curling shot. Cleared by the Fulham defence, only as far as Martinelli. Brings it under control. Zinchenko fires it in low. Cleared away by Diop. Only partially cleared. Nketiah, his shot closed down. They're appealing for handball there. Arteta is extremely animated as Jesus is going to be coming on for Arsenal, and a Fulham player has gone down. This is the sort of like the time-wasting thing you want to see that the officials are trying to eradicate.
But he was actually clipped by Kivior as he ran past him. So Raul Jimenez has gone on the floor. Rightly so, he was clipped.
Let's get an update from Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
It's Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2, but Forest with 10 men have had another chance to draw level. Ball in, fell for Bolly, tried the shot, great save flying to his left by Onana. United 3, Forest 2.
Stoppage in play, you're not missing any of the action. 2-2 here at the Emirates. We will go to Everton Wolves. Mas Farouki.
Still Everton 0, Wolves 1. Everton with a couple of subs now coming on here to try and get something out of this game. Remember, they've never lost their first 3 games of any season without scoring. Yet to find a goal yet in the Premier League this season, and they trail by a goal to nil here with winter stoppage time of 5 minutes now.
Now Raul comes off. He won't be allowed back onto the field of play for at least 30 seconds. Salford 1, Accrington 2 is the latest score. Salford have got a goal back. It's 2-2. We're into 9 minutes of added on time. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. Ben White plays a ball scuffed in from the right-hand side, cleared only as far as Vieira, sends over the cross, headed away by Tete for Fulham. It was Gabriel Jesus who's come on for Kivior, incidentally, for Arsenal. Now with Zinchenko, left corner of the area, plays the ball in towards Martinelli, and there is both Tete and Diop to let that ball safely go out of play for a goal kick. We'll nip to Brentford. Charlie Slater.
We're into 5 minutes of additional time here. We've played 3 of it. It's Brentford 1, Crystal Palace 1. Both sides pushing for a winner here, but neither side at the moment managing to find one. Still 1-1.
Notts County 3, Tranmere 1, Newport 3, Sutton 1 are 2 latest scores. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, I think it was...
it's Declan Rice,
Declan Rice, yeah, he's come off for Kivior's still on.
Yeah, it was Rice who came off. Kivior went on. It has been such a manic second half. Second half commentary to come after Sports Report from the Amex at 5:30 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. 2-2. The rain has finally relented, it would seem, as Arsenal on this slick surface. Jorginho swings over the cross. Martinelli bounces off his right boot, keeps the ball in play in the penalty area. Out of the box he goes, running away. Left-hand side, cuts it back now towards Nketiah, edge of the area towards Saka, back towards Nketiah, very, very tight. They try and link up, comes out towards Martinelli. Fulham defending in numbers. Martinelli in the penalty area, curls it towards the far post. Jesus was there, the acrobatic effort, beaten out by the keeper, flags up on the far side anyway. What a spell.
Yeah, really good from the left-hand side. Martinelli just teasing Kenny Tete. He's trying to invite the challenge from him. Tete stands it up to the back post. Anthony Robinson, perfect body position, makes sure he wins the header, deals with the danger, and as it comes back out to Odegaard, it comes back out. The player's offside, rightly so.
Just to clarify, with that playoff at the Oval being rained off, the Northern Superchargers qualified by virtue of having finished second in the qualifying table above the Welsh Fire. I'm sure that will be squeezed into Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5 o'clock as well. No other goals to tell you about apart from Hibs 2, Livingston 3 at Easter Road. We're in the 4th minute of 9 to be added on here at the Emirates. Zinchenko, 2-2. Ball in the air, brought under control by Vieira. Jesus wide, right-hand side, far side. Up against Anthony Robinson, and then Anthony Robinson surely prevents Jesus from coming past him. No, says the referee, and the clearance from Kearney for Fulham. Full time at Brentford. Charlie Slater.
Brentford 1, Palace 1. Kevin Schade brilliant solo goal after 18 minutes put Brentford in front, but Palace equalised through Joachim Andersen with 15 minutes left. It's finished 1-1.
White with a cross over the head of Nketiah, comes towards Martinelli, back heels the ball to Zinchenko. He pops the ball then back to Martinelli, left corner of the area. Now it's with Jorginho, who waits on the edge of the area. This is Martinelli towards Zinchenko. Zinchenko with the cross towards the far post. Robinson doesn't get the ball Oh, it runs out off his head and out of play for a throw. Quickly to the rugby, James Burridge.
Terrific second half here. England coming back from 20 points to 8 down. It's now 23-22 Fiji. Joe Marchant scoring out wide. We've got 10 minutes till full time.
Jorginho to Jesus. Triangular passing patterns. And there it was. Jimenez sliding into the challenge. Referee gives Arsenal the free kick. Jimenez will run the ball away. He hasn't heard the whistle. I've got to say, Dan, I'm really surprised because the assistant referee's right on top of the incident, doesn't even flag. Paul Tierney gives the decision and he stood probably 20-30 yards away.
Peterborough 2, Derby 4, Cheltenham 0, Northampton 1 are two latest scores in League One. 5.5 minutes of the minimum 9 that were here. Arteta just puts his hand up to the fourth official. I think they had too many bodies in the technical area down below. But time is running out for Arsenal. Otherwise they will lose their 100% winning start to the campaign. So Vieira stands over the free kick, 6 yards in from the right touchline. Fulham have got everybody back. Vieira, left-footed, clips that diagonal ball in now. Brilliant. Header away by Tosin. And Nketiah loses out to Jimenez. Fulham back to the cause, helping out. West Brom 4, Middlesbrough 2 is the latest score in the Championship. Mansfield 3, Stockport County 2. Mansfield still unbeaten under Nigel Clough in the early stages of League 2. Arsenal though attacking with Vieira. Push over from Robinson. Referee, oh no, he gives the free kick the other way.
Good decision, really good decision. The brake's on.
And the brake is on. And they've released Traore, and Adama Traore of all the people is running clear. He accelerates into the penalty area. Excellent save by Ramsdale.
Why didn't he go down? The challenge came in from Saliba and he should have just hit the deck. He'd have wanted to see him a penalty late on. Brilliant save though from Ramsdale. Adama thought he could win it for his team, and now Arsenal attack.
Wigan 0, Barnsley 2, a latest score in League One. And in the brightening skies but the light drizzle, Fulham are back on the defensive with Saka, right corner of the area, rolls away from his man, passes the ball in towards Nketiah. Oh, that was a challenge from Paulinho, but he got the ball actually. Now with Zinchenko, Arsenal have still got it. We have about 90 seconds of injury time, a minimum to be added on of that 9, as Zinchenko curls the ball in. It was a teasing ball. Tosin heads it away under pressure, comes out then towards Martinelli. Martinelli waits. Fulham defending stoutly. Zinchenko, low ball in, cleared up rather than away by Diop, and then he heads it further out of play for a throw. Quickly to Mass, full time.
Full time, Everton players slumped on the turf. Wolves are the winner in the 87th minute. Their only shot on target from Sasa Kalajic, and they have their first point on the board. Everton 0, Wolves 1 at full time.
Zinchenko with a cross from the left hand side. All the results and the reaction to come in. Mark Chapman with Sports Report. Little flick forward. Well read by Diop, clears it away, comes out to Ramsdale, all in royal blue. We're inside the last 60 seconds by my watch of stoppage time. Then we'll be at the hands and the discretion of referee Paul Tierney. White forward, White right hand side, crosses into the penalty area. Tete's head is only go as far as Zinchenko, just in from the touchline, about 6 yards up from the byline. Back towards Kiwior, his low cross, outstretched leg there by Diop, goes only as far as Saliba. Jorginho passes the ball. Vieira takes a touch, lifts it away from Robinson, who commits early. Vieira now by the byline right hand side. This is going to be it now or never for Arsenal. It's Saka who waits. Saka cuts the ball back. The home side are being patient. Cross swung over by Vieira. Jesus was there. Flying punch away by Bernd Leno.
Outstanding defending from Fulham. They've stood the ground. Diop has been brilliant in that defence, but they come again, Arsenal.
They do come again, but my watch, the 9 minutes of added up time are now over. Vieira enters the penalty area and he shoots, and it's tipped over by Leno. It'll be a corner kick for Arsenal. Goal at Birmingham, Pat Murphy.
To Birmingham City, Jay Stansfield on a sub on his debut. Former Exeter player scores for Birmingham to make it Birmingham 1, Birmingham 2, Plymouth 1.
Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 1 is the latest score. And it's Exeter 2, Reading 1 in League One. So we're now past the 9 minute mark that were added on. Corner kick from the right hand side. Jesus rises. It drops towards Kiwior. And then it's taken away off his toes and run behind for another corner. It just wouldn't drop quick enough.
No, he just didn't have the instinct that a striker had. Who was it? Diop this time, who gets a block in. hugely important block, and Arsenal have another corner. Can they withstand it?
Tete's just been shown a yellow card by referee Paul Tierney. So it's another corner kick. We've now gone past the 10 minutes that have been added on. 2-2, corner. Oh, it was a poor one. Headed away by Traore, and there is indeed the final whistle. And Arsenal's 100% winning start to the season is ended by Fulham, who still haven't won away at Arsenal in their history. But boy, they have put up a real fight against the Gunners today.
Oh, they certainly did. What a magnificent performance from Marco Silva's team. Resilient, strong, couple of mistakes, which is bound to happen when you're under so much pressure from a really strong and dominant Arsenal team. From Arsenal's point of view, they struggled to move the ball quick enough to move the Fulham team out of positions. But overall, Deno, what a fantastic game of football.
They scored early and they scored late. Pereira inside the opening 60 seconds. Paulinho salvaging an equaliser in the 87th minute after Arsenal had come from behind through Bukayo Saka and Eddie Nketiah. And it finished